Okay, meeting is called to order. Please rise. Salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our troops, our police officers, first responders, and all emergency workers. Thank you. Okay, Karen, can I have a sunshine notice, please?
In compliance with the provisions of Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey, 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice in December 2022 edition of the Trends. This notice was also placed on the Kinnelon Boro website and sent to the Star Ledger, North Jersey Herald News, the Record, and posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Thank you, Karen. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Yago.
Here.
Councilman Harris.
Here.
Councilman Maybe.
Here.
Councilman Russo.
Here.
Councilman Charles.
Here.
Councilman Chertoff.
Here.
All right, gentlemen, we have a full house. Thank you for coming. We're going to start off with our budget. We have Ray here, our auditor. He's going to give us a quick overview of the audit, and then with his help, he's going to work you through the ability to pass this budget in proper order. So thank you, Ray, and welcome to, I can't say welcome to Kinnelon, you were probably here this morning. So, welcome.
Last week.
Thank you for all your hard work with us.
Okay, so tonight we're taking action on the 2023 municipal budget. I know you've been working on this for a while, and Charlie presented it a few weeks ago, so you have a lot of background information on it. I'll just do a brief overview of the budget and kind of some of the bigger takeaways that I see from the budget. So the total budget is actually only increasing $41,000. Now, a huge reason that there's not a big increase in the budget on the whole is because of grants. And grants come in throughout the year, and there is a process to amend the budget throughout the year. So your total budget is only increasing $41,000, but a big portion of that is a decrease in grants, while there's also an increase in the appropriations to spend and the revenues to offset those appropriations. So, you know, I think you all know this by now, but the biggest appropriation that's causing an increase in your budget is your garbage contract. And that is not a Kinnelon issue, that is a New Jersey statewide issue. In fact, the state took action to allow for additional cap space because so many people were having such large increases in their garbage contract that a lot of budgets couldn't even sustain their garbage increase. So that's your biggest driver of the appropriation side of the budget. So that was an increase of roughly $700,000 to the appropriation side of the budget. So a number of revenues are used to offset that. There's fund balance, there's local revenue, and then of course taxes. Taxes are the biggest portion of what town can use to offset their appropriations. So in this case, the local tax levy increased about 6.5% for $723,000. So if you look at that, all of your other expenses combined were just slightly, pretty much didn't increase, but your garbage contract drove up the tax levy to the point where they're almost equal. So I wanted to, before I came tonight, I wanted to do a little comparison to see what would happen if you just had a 3.5% increase, which I use 3.5% because that's always the cost of living adjustment that the state allows you to have on your appropriations. So if there was a 3.5% increase in your garbage appropriation, your municipal tax would have only gone up 0.5% or $14 to the average taxpayer. So as you can see, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on how garbage has affected this budget, which you're contractually obligated to pay. So I think, there was a lot of effort put into trying to keep the taxes low for the year, and a lot of work put into that. So that's the main driver. So what you have is you end up with a 6.11% increase in the tax rate, which is just under $200 to an average taxpayer. So that's a brief summary of your budget and kind of what I see in the budget as far as what's driving the costs.
It's $200 per year, and the average house, for the average household, which in Kinnelon is what,
About 570.
$570. So if your house is worth $570, your taxes will go approximately $200 a year.
Yeah.
For the municipal
local
For the municipal portion of the taxes, yes.
Yep.
Okay, when I reached out to you about the revaluation of our taxes, and that's something we talked about as a council to try to keep on track to make sure that we don't go what we went through with Basin Lakes and,
Right.
Having such a big increase because their property values have gone up over there. So we're trying to avoid that happening again, and I know Councilman Yago was adamant about having that in the budget. And I asked you to look into the budget.
Yes.
Did you have any questions, or did you?
So yes, a revaluation can be done, and most municipalities in this first year, you're revaluing the town, and then in subsequent years, you're reassessing the town. So you're looking at the assessment each year, but the first year is a revaluation where you look at the town as a whole, which is a revaluation. And the state allows you to, and most towns do it this way, do what's called a special emergency. Because there's such a large cost to that, and it would be difficult to include the cost of that in one budget cycle, you do a special emergency that can be funded over a 5-year period. So you can still do that portion of the revaluation, start it at some later point in the year through a special emergency, and it actually benefits you by being able to pay for it over a period of time instead of having to pay for it through one budget cycle.
We would bond for that, is that what you're saying?
It's not a bond, it's a way of it acting like a bond, but deferring the payment over a period of time. So it acts like a bond in that you pay for it through multiple budget cycles, but you don't need to budget for it in one cycle. You pay it back over time, but you don't actually go into debt for it.
Right, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
I know I spoke to Charlie's about this, and I'm going to get to this in my report. We have a resolution here where we are going to start paying our tipping fees. I've done the math, I've done a lot of homework on this, and I've worked really hard. The borough is going to see anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 of savings per month on paying their own tipping fees, depending on what the tonnage and the fluctuation in which it happens. I'm hopeful it's going to be in the $20,000 range. So Charlie had told me that money would end up going into the general fund.
That's correct.
Also, we have something else that I think Councilman Harris is going to talk about, which is health insurance, which is somewhere around 6 figures of a savings. That all ends up in the general fund. That is another way to be able to pay for a situation in which we're talking about. Am I correct in saying that? Because the money's going to be in the general fund, so you actually
Sure, so-
pay
Yeah.
each year as you go along.
Mhm. So if there is enough savings at the end of the year,
Right.
you can do a transfer
Mhm.
into another line
Right.
item
That's what
to
Charlie
have
said.
the provision to pay for that, which
Right.
would give you another way to
Okay.
do that as well.
Thank you.
And if I could just add about the reval, in 2016, the Kinnelon had a reval done, and I believe the cost was about $250,000. And what Ray is talking about, a 5-year special emergency, we budgeted for the next 5 years, $50,000 for 5 years to pay that off. So that's exactly, you did that in 2016. I believe that 2016 or 2017. Yeah, it's probably when I came in, right, yeah.
I have a question for you, Charlie. The second year and third year, fourth year, each of those are also going to come in at $50,000, are they not? So what we're doing is we're deferring the initial charge. We would be deferring the initial $250,000, $200,000, whatever it is, but still we would then be committing that additional 50,000. So essentially, we'd be paying 100,000 after the first year. Is that correct?
And we just want to, I know we're talking about the idea, Ray, and we've been discussing this for quite a while now, the idea of a 5-year reassessment program.
Yeah, rolling assessment.
Right, a rolling reassessment program. And so what I would recommend to the council is your tax assessor has done that for, I believe, 2 municipalities that he works for. That idea, I would say, have Chris Lawver come in, present to you what a 5-year reassessment is, and he'll give you the pros and cons. And you can decide, do you want to start it now? Do you want, maybe it's not time to start it now, maybe next year. You just get a better idea of what that process is and, you know, how much it would cost, and Chris would have all that information.
Bill, did you have any questions?
The only question I have is, you mentioned fund balance was one of the ways that we were able to reduce the taxes, because that's something very dear to my heart, because as you know, when I first got on the council, we worked together, and we had an issue where the fund balance was in serious trouble, and we've been building up that fund balance for this type of an emergency, for this type of a situation where we have something that's going to cost us a lot of money that we have to pay. I was just wondering, of the fund balance, are you comfortable with the amount of money that we're reducing the fund balance by? And what is it $200,000 that we're using from prior, the savings that we it's kind of like a savings account for us?
Sure, yeah, so what, every municipality kind of handles their budget the same way. You have fund balance, you utilize the fund balance to try and offset some of the costs of the town, like you said, as almost like a revenue. So you're drawing down on your savings, and then as the year progresses, hopefully you regenerate that fund balance so that can stay stable over time. Fund balance is very similar to like what retained earnings would be in a business. So in the current year, you're using $1,750,000 of the fund balance, which is an increase of $245,000 over the amount of fund balance you used last year. And so I always like to say the use of fund balance is very addicting, because you can always use a little bit more and a little bit more, and it does help stabilize taxes, but you get to a point where you can use too much fund balance. And so once you use too much fund balance, it's going to start to decline. You're not going to regenerate it. And when you're not regenerating it, it's just going to keep going down until you take an active step to change what you're doing, which usually means there's a big tax increase to try and stabilize where the budget is. So we always try and use enough fund balance that we're using what we should to draw down on our fund balance that we can regenerate, but not use too much where we're kicking the can down the road, so to speak, and going to have a bigger tax increase next year because we used too much this year. And so I know Charlie spends a lot of time looking at it. I painstakingly look at, is this sustainable? And what you're using in this budget, I feel is a sustainable number that will regenerate year over year. So I'm comfortable with the use of it, and I think it's a good balance of where you're at. You can always reassess, and there's something that if you feel the fund balance starts to get too high, you can use the fund balance for a one-time expense, and it will draw down, and then you'll, in a future year, you use less, but you also don't have that expense again. And that's called like a one-time drawdown. Usually for a capital expense, it could be used for something like the reassessment, and you could pay for the whole thing in 1 year by utilizing more fund balance in 1 year. But that would be something to address in next year's budget. So, very long-winded way of saying, yes, I'm okay with the fund balance usage in this budget.
Thanks.
One thing Ray and I discussed when we started the budget process, I said to Ray, especially with the garbage, knowing about the garbage and recycling, I said, Ray, Yeah, one of the ways we looked at the budget is fund balance, you save it, you build it, you get a rainy day, and you might need to spend a little bit more. So I said, when we heard about the garbage, we knew about the garbage and recycling, I said, Ray, I think it might be drizzling. And Ray said, it's a downpour. You gotta move with it, yeah.
Well, I think what you're saying, Ray, what I'm hearing is the prior council, which was Councilman Russo, Charles, and Yago, left us in great shape, and our current finance committee is also doing a great job. So I want to thank all of you gentlemen up here for taking that, but mostly you two who probably worked hardest on the budget, and thank you, especially Charlie. As I'm sure everyone has heard, our Charlie, our CFO / administrator, will be leaving Kinnelon. Charlie has about an hour, sometimes hour and a half commute to Kinnelon every day. So he's now taking a job that's, as he says, a 10-minute electric bike ride from his house. And Charlie drives an electric car, and he's worried sometimes when he's here on late meetings, he's not going to make it home. But you have really, set the tone for our town with our budgets, and working with previous council and making sure that everything's in line, and Raymond's on board as well. So I think we're in good hands moving forward. Will we miss you? Yes, of course, Charlie, and you know that. Everybody up here calls you a friend, and we wish I'm ready to buy you like a Chevy Tahoe. I know you're it's a lot more comfortable than a Bolt, but I do know you had a conversation with us saying, hey, it's not you guys. I'd stay here forever, but it is, as I always tell everybody in my life, family, work, church, and your family comes first, Charlie. And with our meetings, sometimes going to 10, 11 o'clock at night, you get home at 12. Got to charge her up and back here at 7 in the morning. So it's you made the right decision spending time with your family, and we appreciate it. And on behalf of Kinnelon, thank you, Charlie. Doesn't mean I like you though.
You're buying beers tonight, Charlie.
All right, Ray, work me through this here, so we're looking at, I'm sorry, I didn't ask if anybody else had any questions up on the dais. Okay, hear none, well, not yet, but we'll come back to the dais. We're going to move up to hearing from the public on the budget. If anybody from the public would like to be heard, wait, hold on, you see, I blew it already. Okay, Ray, lead me through this.
Here we go. So first, we're going to do public hearing on an adoption on ordinance 0823.
Yes.
An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank for calendar year 2023. You can open that.
Okay, so this is just, as we always say, this is more of a housekeeping where our budget wasn't passed yet, so we've been transferring money to make sure we have enough to pay the bills. So this really has nothing to do with the budget, except that the money that was spent here will be used from our budget. So it's not really, the budget conversation will happen next for the public. So this is not about the budget just yet. So we have anybody from the public that would like to talk about exceeding our municipal budget appropriation limits.
I don't know if I have this question, if it's the right question for this time.
Sure.
But during the time you talked about reassessing our houses every 5 years?
Yeah, that'll be, well, I guess we'll talk about that in the budget.
Okay.
Okay. So, hearing none from the public, we'll bring it back to the dais. Does anybody on the dais want to talk about that? Okay, so I need a roll call, please.
Excuse me, Councilman Yago,
Yes.
Councilman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Maybe,
Yes.
Councilman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Charles.
Yes.
Councilman Sherdo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Now I'm going to go back to Ray with the verbiage for the adoption of our 2023 budget. I see you got a new iPad, right? You're a little rusty with it.
So technically fall in the millennial
Oh,
time frame.
all right.
I'm at like the very top end of it.
You
So
don't
I'm
have
trying
to
live-
admit that.
Trying to live true to
No,
that.
you're doing well. So we need the
Okay. Yep.
adoption. Jen.
Yep. So we're gonna have a hearing on the budget, which,
I hear the surface tab is actually far superior.
Okay. Be resolved that the council members of the Borough,
Of Kinnelon.
Fill in the blank.
be resolved that the council members of the Borough of Kinnelon in the County of Morris, that the budget herein set forth is hereby, will be adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes and stated sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorizations in the amount of $11,972,619.43 for municipal purposes, and $645,027 for open space recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust levy, $750,325 for the minimum library tax.
Thank you. So I need a motion, right?
Yep.
I need a motion to approve it at this point, then we're going to go to the public, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the,
So moved.
I need a
Second.
second. Okay, I need a roll call, please. Karen?
Councilman
Wait,
Boro.
no.
Wait, I gotta.
Okay, now we're going, now it's
We'll do
open.
the game, and then we'll vote.
Every year. Okay, so now we're going to open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to be heard? If you would, come up front here. We ask that you don't say your name or your address anymore, just come up and ask your questions.
Any questions?
Come on up,
Just the
Chris.
budget.
Budget.
Well, pertaining to the budget.
Well, that goes to my question I just asked a minute ago, what do you want to talk about?
Well, Chris, in all seriousness, if you wanted to reach out to Councilman Yago, he can explain, there's nothing in place right now to reassess everyone's taxes, but I know Councilman Yago knows a lot about that. Are you comfortable, Bill, is that okay?
Yeah,
No,
you can
I'd rather ask live.
Sure, then go ahead and ask. Bill should be able to answer.
You
He's,
said this for the public.
You want me to come up?
This is in the public.
Public.
okay, so it's not in the budget, Chris, so you're gonna have to sit.
Not in the
for a
budget.
That's being the
That's what
public.
I'm asking.
second. All right, correct, you can sit, sorry.
I'm not gonna get up again.
No. No, one more, no. All right, so we're talking about the budget. Does anybody have any questions from the public about the budget? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna bring it back to the dais. Does anybody on the dais have any questions or comments on the budget? Okay, again, I express my thanks to everyone working on it, everyone in the past and the current, and thank you very much. Ray, thank you very much. Charlie, Karen, I need a motion, a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago.
Yes.
Councilman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Maybe.
Yes.
Councilman Russo.
Yes.
Councilman Charles.
Yes.
Councilman Cherto.
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen, congratulations. Anything else, Ray? That's it, there's no more reading about that, right? We're done, okay.
Until next year.
And then we have, the next thing on our agenda is Resolution 5123, Chapter 159, to add the coronavirus state and local financial recovery funds to the 2023 municipal budget of $517,900.01.
Charlie, could you explain to the residents what's involved in this?
Sure, okay, so we received, this is the American Rescue Plan dollars that we received from the federal government. We received our first half of the $517,901. We received that in 2021. It was appropriated in the budget in 2022, which means that in 2022, the first half was available for spending. We know that at this point, we haven't spent any of it. We're looking at, what capital projects or equipment do we want to spend that on. The second half came in 2022. What we're doing right now is through this Chapter 159, we are appropriating the dollars into the budget that you just passed, and that's why we're doing it in this order. You're appropriating the second half of the $517,901 into the 2023 budget, so that it is available for spending.
And what's that total?
Oh, gosh.
$1,035,000.
Thank you.
That's the amount of money that the Borough of Kinnelon received from the American Rescue Plan over 2 years, was a little over $1 million. And that's what we kept from spending last year, because we knew we'd have the garbage, we'd have the healthcare, we'd have other exceptional costs beyond our control. We wanted to maintain that money to offset our capital projects that are coming up this year, i.e. road paving, other work that we have underway. Thank you, Charlie, for holding on to that money. I know it was tough.
Okay, thank you. So I need a motion to approve resolution 5123.
Make a motion.
Second.
I got a first and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churro?
Yes.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, please.
The treasurer's report indicated we started out with cash on hand as of March 31st, 2023 in the amount of $6,897,288.68. Receipts for the month of April totaled $3,048,105.19, with disbursements amounting to $4,296,061.66. The new balance on hand as of April 30th, 2023 was $5,649,332.21.
Thank you, Karen. All right, reports, mayor's report. I just wrote something for this meeting and wanted to read it out loud. And so as the mayor of Kinnelon, I stand before you not just as your leader, but as someone who deeply cares about our community and the progress we can achieve together. Today I want to address an issue that has been troubling our ability to make meaningful decisions for the betterment of Kinnelon. In over the 28 years that I've been involved in our town, both as a business owner, a dad, a coach, a public servant, and now the mayor of this great town, I have never witnessed a town and a council as divided. The toxicity and the political division because of our up-and-coming and past elections within our town have reached a point where it's hampering our ability to effectively govern and serve the people who have entrusted us with their hopes and their dreams. Obviously, I've been part of this drama. A lack of trust in me as your mayor to make the best decisions for Kinnelon has been quite a surprise to me. I have over 20 years of volunteer public service in this town. I have owned 2 businesses here. My son grew up here. I'm a proud citizen of Kinnelon, if not the proudest. I promise that if something were ever come of harm to this town and community, I would be the first in the line of defense. No decision is made without thought and research, and no decision is made without care. And that is my pledge to you as your mayor. Social media, which is a very dangerous yet useful tool, it's great to get the words out to our resident, but sometimes with a thorn in our side. Here are some examples. Facebook users state, the mayor and the council of Kinnelon want 500 apartments. That is false. As I have said in the past, I do not want apartments in Kinnelon because of the potential of overcrowding in our schools. The only apartments that I am willing to have a conversation, which we have not had yet, about is behind Lowe's on Route 23 northbound, and they would have to be zoned 55 and over with no kids in our schools. These conversations will take place with the council and expert planners that we hire prior to proper planning. A pilot tax is a bad thing for Kinnelon. I can't answer this because there is no plan in place to discuss a pilot tax. If a builder wants to utilize a pilot tax, which people don't know, a pilot tax is payment in lieu of taxes. Builders are looking at pilot taxes to save them money on what they pay for taxes. So it makes the job more, we'll say, successful for them. So what happens is, in this situation, because it's 55 and over and no kids in the school system, it came up as an idea. Because there's no kids going in this school. If we had an apartment with 300 people, kids going into our school system, a pilot tax is not an option. It's an option here. Do I know enough about it to answer your questions tonight? No. We have not talked to a builder about it. We don't know what we would make on it. We haven't talked to our professionals on it. So a pilot tax is a bad thing for Kinnelon? We don't know. If myself or anyone up here on this council was elected and are not listening to ideas about projects in our town or ways for taxpayers to save money, we're not doing our job. And that was the job we were elected to do. Is COA and affordable housing coming to Kinnelon? Yes. Kinnelon is getting COA and affordable housing in 2025. But you know what? Every other town in New Jersey is as well. We are in the process now, working with our planning board and the council and our professionals in town, and we're also sent out RFQs, requests for qualifications, from qualified planners to get us through this redevelopment and COA obligations. Can we get out of it in Kinnelon? No. You're not allowed to get out of it in the state of New Jersey. You can work with your professionals and make sure you get a number as low as you possibly can, and that's what we did last time we had COA. We worked with our professionals, we worked with our attorney, we worked with our planners, and we got our COA numbers down, and now we have some COA units in our apartments, and we also have an overlay zone over Stop and Shop. Is there going to be apartments at Stop and Shop? Can everyone in Kinnelon hear me? Is there apartment? There is not going to be apartments in Stop and Shop. We had a conversation with him 3 years ago. 3 years ago with the landlord. He said, I want to put apartments, and Vince was there, Rand was, we're all like, hey, how about put assisted living? We had all these great ideas, and he wasn't happy with our ideas. And he said, you know what, I'll see you in 25. So there might be apartments in Stop and Shop, but there is no one up here, including myself, that wants apartments in Stop and Shop. But if he goes in front of I don't know who you're going, the courts, the Superior Court, there might be. But you know what? We're going to get the least amount that we have, and we will fight it tooth and nail till the end. With that being said, all members of the council, let us remember why we are here. We are elected by the people of Kinnelon to represent their interests, to make decisions that would shape the future of our town, and to work together for the betterment of this community. We cannot fulfill this sacred duty if we allow our differences to overshadow our common goals. Now more than ever, we need to rise above our personal biases, put aside our political views, and unite as a council. We must recognize that our diversity of opinions, backgrounds, and experience can be the strength if we harness it wisely. Our disagreements should serve as a catalyst for constructive dialogue, not a barrier of progress. Let us remember that our responsibility lies not only in serving our constituents, but also in setting an example for them. They look to us for leadership, for guidance, and for a vision of a brighter future. It is our duty to show them that despite our differences, we can find common ground and work together in harmony. I implore each one of you to reflect upon why you chose public service in the first place. Was it not to make positive impact on the lives of the people that we represent? Was it not to leave a lasting legacy of unity, progress, and prosperity? We owe it to ourselves and to the people of Kinnelon to commit to those ideals. Let us remember that compromise is not a sign of weakness, but a testament of our ability to prioritize the greater good over personal agendas. It is through compromise that we can't find solutions that address the needs of our constituents, rather than just a select few. By working together, we can bridge these gaps, find commonalities, and build a strong foundation for our town's future. I have faith in each and every one of you. I believe that I have an amazing council in place. We need to put aside our differences and work towards a shared vision. Tonight was an example of a shared vision. Thank you, gentlemen, for passing that budget in unity. We might not always agree on every issue, but let us pledge to engage in respectful dialogue, active listening, and open-mindedness. Let us commit to seeking common ground, finding innovative solutions, and putting the interests of Kinnelon above all else. Together, we have the power to shape the destiny of our town. Let us make that power count. Let us show the people of Kinnelon that their elected officials can rise above the divisions of the present conflicts and create a brighter future for all. Thank you. Took me 4 days to write that. But I honestly mean that. I thank the council for tonight for the passing of the budget, and I look forward to hearing your council committee report. So we'll move on to open space. Councilman Yago.
Thank you, Mayor. From Open Space, I want to first start by thanking Joseph Boro. Pull this up in an email. On behalf of the members of Kinnelon Conserves, I appreciate your recommendation that I present details from our offer to the Environmental Committee members at its meeting tonight. Kinnelon Conserves was founded by Avery Hart Mantel and myself in 2007. Other key members were Lori Cohen, Donna Perch, Mary Durdenstein, Susan Clancy, Camille Gaines, and Orden Knudsen. Sorry if I'm destroying your name.
You actually said it right.
Yeah. All Kinnelon residents. A self-organized group, our mission was to raise environmental consciousness in the borough through workshops, speaker programs, films, outings, and large Earth Day events. This included outreach to the schools, the library, the churches, mostly operating on sweet equity. We refused to reuse and repurpose so much that our expenses were minimal. We relied purely on donations and exhibitor fees. At present, there's over $800 in our account, which we would like to put to good use locally in the future. So what they've decided to do is take that money and purchase a bench for the property that the borough owns at Lake Udemeyer. So we're in the process right now of getting together with the DPW, with the head of DPW and selecting a spot for it. So I just wanted to thank Joseph Igora for her kind donation. And I think the bench is going to be ordered. It's a little bit tricky how we do this because she can't give us the money to order it. She has to order it. So we're going to get together with John, find out what the best type of bench for that area is, how we're going to secure it so it doesn't disappear, and where we're going to put it. So I just wanted to.
We have a couple at the Boot Nap Field that have, been around for a while. You might want to check that out. Tell Joe to go by there.
And then the other thing from Open Space is I wanted to thank the volunteers who helped plant several hundred daffodil bulbs around the municipal building, and you'll be seeing them blooming next year. I wanted to recognize them by name. They came here on, I believe it was a Saturday that we did it. We met here at the Borough Hall and had some plans on where to plant all these daffodils and spent the morning planting them. And I just wanted to thank Scott Kruger, Nancy Mancini, Leanna Bassett, Bassett, and Jackson Bassett, and Terry Hammond, Alex Hammond, Nina Scherenberg.
Yep.
Did I ruin that one?
That's good.
Andy Scherenberg and Sue Henderson. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Volunteers are so important to this borough in so many ways, and it would be a shame not to recognize them. Since we have an audience here tonight, I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Roselius for her 27 years on the planning board. She was not, in my opinion, thanked properly with a proclamation for her years of service. She was made aware that she was not being reappointed to the planning board by the mayor the night before the council meeting with a message left on her answering machine. At least she got a call. I served on the planning board for 42 years, and I didn't get a courtesy call. And that it was the intention of the new council members and mayor to replace me on the planning board. And the borough attorney of 47 years, who was also replaced, did not get a call at all from anybody in the borough to let him know he was being replaced. All this because of our resistance to the group's desire to gift a developer with a pilot program. And I have seen the pilot program pro forma. The developer did come up with a pro forma form that showed exactly what his plans were. And he actually met here, I believe it was August 2019, and he said to the council at that meeting, it was a workshop meeting, that this is what he needed to be able to move ahead with his apartment building, his apartment complex. I don't have the pro forma with me here, but if anybody would like to get in touch with me, I can show you the $20 million gift to the developer if a pilot program is given to him. To be fair to the borough attorney who was replaced, he was not replaced for his resistance to the pilot or to the apartments being built. He was, I believe, replaced because of his belief that we could not keep a development to seniors. Even if the development was approved for seniors, we would not be able to keep it. Case in point, Lincoln Park had a development of 220 units, something like that. They were, same developer, he came in and said he was putting in senior housing, got his approval, and then went back and somehow it got changed to market housing. And I don't do this to be divisive with anybody. I am just worried about Kinnelon, I'm worried about the taxes, and I'm worried about the impact on the community. Tonight, moving on, tonight we are spending $200,000 for the police department. I had no idea we were considering these purchases until I saw them on the agenda last week. I don't know the urgency or the need for this equipment because, quite frankly, nobody asked me for my input. The people who are running the council already decided they would approve the spending without any input from me. I don't know if Councilman Russo or Councilman Charles were I'm talking.
I'm sorry, it's so difficult, sorry.
Anybody talk to them about this? To be fair, I'm not against providing police with equipment, but to use the American Rescue Plan money that the previous council set aside to be used as tax relief for much needed infrastructure projects, I think would be a mistake. We plan to do these projects without any borrowing or raising of taxes. That was the plan when I was finance chair. Now what we're doing is we're kind of rushing to buy all this equipment, and my concern is that these are the types of purchases that you can easily get grants for. I don't know, since nobody talked to me about these purchases prior, I have no idea if there are grants available. I have no idea what money would be available for these purchases, but I hate to just spend money without looking first to make sure there aren't grant opportunities. I don't understand the urgency. I would ask that the purchases on tonight's agenda for the police department be postponed till next month, when we have time to investigate what might be available in the way of grants. So I will ask that later when we're doing the approvals. I would also like to ask that the council consider engaging a commercial real estate agent. And I would have to ask our attorney if there's a way we can do this. The property on Lead Mine Road that is currently zoned as a commercial piece of property. We're discussing turning it into a residential piece of property. I would like to see if we can engage a commercial realtor to promote that property as a commercial development. Is that something that we can do, or because we don't own the property?
Yeah, if we don't own it,
how the borough could do that.
Bill,
Even
if
if
I'm
it's
not,
in a redevelopment
if I'm not
site.
mistaken, you sent that out for RFQ a year ago. Did you not?
What's that?
You took the plans the last time the developer had come to the council 2 years ago and sent an RFQ out soliciting commercial real estate to come to the property?
No.
I believe so, unless I'm mistaken.
You told me you did that?
No, he had us, no,
I sent that?
no, you talked to, and Sean, I got it, we were at our meeting and you said that you needed time to talk to commercial
Oh, I've
realtors.
actually talked to commercial realtors,
No, but-
making them aware of it.
Right, that was
Okay.
4 years ago.
All right,
We haven't-
understood.
There's no one looking at that property, and the one piece of property has now changed owners to Capadaglia.
Yes, yeah, it's interesting that a piece of property assessed at $33,000 was purchased for $400,000.
Wish I would have been selling it.
Yeah, me too. And then I have one other question, and that's about our Facebook account that we put these meetings on. I generally like to download the meetings and keep them on my computer so that if I need to reference them and go back and look at a meeting, I can do that. But I noticed last month that somehow we can't download the meetings anymore. I was wondering who changed that and who controls the Borough Facebook account.
Well,
You never could.
never,
Trust me, I tried. You can't.
I've got them,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Can you show me how?
well, there was nothing done to the account, if that's what you're insinuating. I have a log on, I think Randy has a log on. Jay
Well, you can
has-
log on, yeah, and what I'm trying to do is download it.
Oh, that would be a Facebook question. It's still there, so just, you have to call and find out, because we didn't change anything.
Who monitors, actually?
Jen,
Okay, I'll talk to Jen.
Almer,
And that's, and thanks for the budget. I know that it was a difficult budget with everything that came up with the pensions and insurance and garbage. And glad we got through that with the small amount, not that it's a small amount of a tax increase, but I think you guys did a good job on keeping that to a minimum. Charlie, for the last 6 years, it has been a pleasure working with you. I'm gonna miss you. I tell you what, I worked with well, I'm not even gonna go there. But you are a phenomenal CFO, and not only did you guide the borough fantastically, you educated everybody that ever came into contact with the budget, and you did a wonderful job, and you will be sorely missed. And I want to just thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you.
And Ray, thank you also. I don't want to leave you out. I've been working with you for many, many years, and the same with you. And it's been a pleasure working with you. So thanks so much.
But we're not going to let you resign.
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on to, personnel, Councilman Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. So the big personnel issue this evening, amongst others, is the resignation of our CFO BA, Business Administrator Charles Daniels. After 6 years, as the mayor said, he decided that the 2-hour commute, his daily 2 to 2.5 hour commute, had been getting to him, and so he found a job much closer to home, and he's decided to accept it. We unfortunately only have 2 weeks to replace him, and most of that first week is gone, so we're having to sort of move quickly to find replacements for him. However, it's a task that cannot be accomplished in a short period of time, given the importance of the position. We have to find someone that can actually do the job of 2 people, or find 2 people that can do the job of 2 people. So, excuse me, when council was notified on Monday, approximately at 10 o'clock in the morning, that Mr. Daniel was resigning and would be leaving as of the 28th, an emergency meeting of the Personnel Committee was called. We had that meeting in the same evening, and Mr. Daniel was tasked with providing job description information to the Personnel Committee, and he provided that information, and we took the information that he provided, and we made some adjustments to it to tweak it to our needs as a council. And then that information was disseminated to the other members of council, and the following day it was, I believe, posted to the, actually it was submitted for posting to the, it didn't actually go out. It takes some time to get something on the New Jersey League of Municipalities website.
Karen has to pay for it first in order for it to go live, and I wanted the entire council to look at it, give it a one-over, and before it gets sent out. So I did tell Karen when she gets it to hold back, and the majority of the council, it's just a simple look over, agree, and then it can go out.
Okay, and how will we, when you say agree, what, how do we accomplish that?
Well, Karen will take it and send everybody a copy, and then she'll, oh, you did, okay, and then any questions, we'll go back to Karen. If we don't have questions in the next couple of days, she'll post the RFQ.
Are we going to consider looking at a consultant? Well, and
So
squeeze
if
it in?
I could finish my report, I'll answer those questions, Council. But anyway, so can we set a deadline for having any questions back in so that we can move forward on posting this? We can get responses from.
Right. Well, I'll talk to each council, and then I'll tell Karen.
We're not going to put a plan together?
This is, well, he's not there yet. Go ahead.
So the first step in getting a replacement for CFO and VA is to post the job description. And we are attempting to do that. We also, in the last time, in Charlie's predecessor, when Mr. Daniel's predecessor left, and we were in the process of hiring, or the borough was in the process of hiring Mr. Daniels. We had two individuals who were internal employees of the borough who stepped up and actually took over the position. And we, basically the VA and the CFO position, and those two individuals were approached again, and they have agreed that they would again be willing to provide the assistance necessary to cover while we're in the process of looking for a replacement for Mr. Daniels. The NJLM is a website of New Jersey League of Municipalities. It's essentially the main website for posting job availabilities for municipalities, and that's why we chose to post there. The borough clerk, Karen, was also directed to contact the Sean Channing Group, which is essentially a agency that can, among other things, provide temporary employees to cover the positions that we're looking for. So we are looking into there to get a proposal for a temporary replacement for Charlie if this process goes on too long. And we are currently awaiting a response from them. As soon as we get information back from the NJLM or the Channing Group, that information will be brought to the full council. We'll review it, and we'll look at the possibilities of what we want to do next. We have to look at whether or not we want to find a CFO BA, one individual to cover the job description. We also have to look at the possibility of whether or not we want to hire two individuals, two full-time individuals, one full-time, one part-time. We also are looking at the possibility of going to, excuse me, to our mutual aid communities, shared services, and talking to them about the possibility of sharing an existing CFO or BA, mostly the CFO, given the CFO position is more likely a part-time position rather than a full-time position. So those are what the options that the Personnel Committee is pursuing at this time, and that's all really I have to say on that issue. The next issue that we're dealing with is the insurance policy. We had a our risk management advisor, Frank Cavelli, come make a presentation to the borough and talk about, excuse me, our current insurance, which is the State Health Benefits Plan, the SHBP, and it was recommended by Mr. Cavelli and his firm that we change our insurance to the New Jersey Health Insurance Plan. There is a potential savings for the borough of in excess of $100,000, and it's as long as it is a policy that is equal to or better than our existing policy, then the borough is allowed to engage in that, and without necessarily having to negotiate that with our union employees, and only if it's as good or better. If it's not, then we're not contractually allowed to engage in that. We were considering, it was brought up in committee this past working meeting, and we had thought to introduce a resolution to move to the new health insurance program. However, we would like to have a little more time to look at it to make sure that it indeed does satisfy the needs of our current employees. Some employees have said that the new healthcare system run by Aetna does not include their healthcare professionals. What we would like to do is to, on a case-by-case basis, look at that and try to make sure that indeed it does cover the employees. And if it doesn't, then possibly find some solution that is equitable or agreeable to by everyone involved. Since it's not on the agenda tonight, we really don't have to worry about it, which is great. I'd like to go to my training report, my monthly training report. For the police training, we had Sergeant Sean Patalita attend a class on policy updates and supervision for police supervisors at the Bergen County Police Academy. Officers completed the required spring firearms qualification at the Morris County Police Academy range. Sergeant Christopher Mucci has completed the Command and Leadership Academy held weekly at the Morris County Police Academy. Since January, he has passed and met all the required objectives of his intensive supervision course that is based from the actual cadets program at West Point. Officer Ricky Ferriola attended an instructor course for reality-based scenarios for practical-based training during firearms. Sergeant Mark Ehrenberg attended a course titled Concealed Carry Law Updates for Police Officers, and it was instructed by the Bloodgood Training Group and sponsored by the Secaucus Police Department. Officer Daniel Jonker attended Swiftwater Level 1 training presented by the Passaic County Sheriff's Department, and Officer Louis Albanese, Chief Albanese. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a note of that. Luis Albanese attended the presentation named Below 100, and this is an awareness presentation outlining the importance of police officer safety to help reduce police officer deaths and injuries across the United States. And so that is the end of the police report. The fire company corporation training for the KVFC consisted of tanker and pumper operations for areas without adequate water supply. And the reason why the fire company does this type of training is because, as most of you may know, in Kinnelon, we do not have fire hydrants throughout the borough. There are many areas that are without fire hydrants, and if we enter a situation where, or if the fire department enters a situation where there is no water available in an area within range of the hoses, etc., then water actually has to be tanked in. And so it's quite a process. And so firefighters from all companies, because this is a volunteer organization, and depending on what time of day these incidents might occur, it's unknown as to who is available. So all personnel need to be fluent in the types of operations that are necessary when shoveling water from one location to another location, dumping it into a tank, a collapsible tank, and then going off and collecting more water while the water in the tank is then drafted out and sent to the scene of the incident. So it's a quite intensive evening of training, and it was accomplished incredibly well. And the goal of the training is to successfully coordinate the entire operation. And dependent upon the conditions, it can be relatively easy or very difficult. And so the fire department constantly trains on this type of water supply operation. Triborough EMS, the Triborough members took training this month, and I Am the Patient event, where individuals of the squad were basically told or given information about symptoms of an ailment, and they were then tasked with self-diagnosing or diagnosing the system, so that basically training their skills on diagnosis in a situation, emergency situation. And last but not least, the DPW had their new hire employees train on some of the more hazardous equipment, one of them being a wood chipper and other equipment, so that of injury is greatly reduced. And that's basically our goal in the borough, to train our employees so that they get home every night in one piece. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Financial report. And we're going to move on to Recreation and Public Works, Council President Maybe.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to start out by thanking Charlie Daniel. When I became a councilman a little over 2 years ago, I got to sit in Charlie's office and really get an educational approach in how things worked in municipal government. And I'm very thankful for all the hard work that Charlie has provided to the community, and his desire to always try to do what's best for Kinnelon, and we're very appreciative. I am going to miss our nights at Ramstein after our sewage authority meetings. I have a nice Gold Star beer. It was a pleasure serving on the sewage authority committee with you, and I'm very jealous that you're going to be able to ride your bike to work. So, but I wish you the best, and I think everybody in Kinnelon wishes you the best, and I know everyone on the council wishes you nothing but the best and great success. I'm going to start with the DPW. The week of 5/21 through 5/26 is Department of Public Works Appreciation Week. I would highly recommend anyone in the community that gets a chance to run across one of our DPW supers, workers, all the people that do all the hard work, grunt work, staying late up at night, plowing our roads, maintaining our ball fields, fixing our facilities, keeping our facilities clean. A great appreciation, and say thank you to them. They are definitely the ones that keep the borough running in so many different ways, from emergencies with blown water gaskets over at the library building, anything that goes on in the municipal complex, anytime we have an issue with recreation. They are the ones that step up and do this job. We, over the years, have had issues with employees not staying around. We're working very hard to change that culture and have better retention. And Department of Public Appreciations Week, that's what it's about. We want to create the same thing for them, in which we all know about Kinnelon. We love Kinnelon, that's why we live here. We want them to feel the similar thing, that they want to work here and they want to retire here and have longevity. Next week, Wednesday, May 24th, we are going to throw a Pizza Appreciation Day lunch with the DPW. All the entire council and mayor are welcome to come, and realistically anybody from the public. It's just our way of interacting with our workers and people at the DPW, say thank you, have a bite to eat with them, buy them lunch, and just have a good appreciation. Next, paving. Councilman Churchill will dive into a little bit more of the process of the paving, but we as a council, and I mean all of us as a council, everybody, has done a very good job at trying to outline a good program on resurfacing our streets. As we all know, because we drive through the community, there's so many streets that are in need. And one of the biggest challenges that we run into every year is having enough money to try to cover the amount of ground that we'd like to. With the massive increase in petroleum, we have found over the last couple years, it's been a little bit hard to budget and cover the amount of roads that need paving that we'd like. However, this year, with prior planning in the past, between Charlie and the prior finance committee, as well as really intelligent, smart thinking of the new finance committee, between the combination of the two, we have a large amount of roads that we are anticipating and paving this year. I think this is a great thing for Kinnelon. Now's the time, if we punt this off and put it back into next year, it'll only cost us more money to pave the roads again. The other thing, which I met with the DPW super and assistant super earlier in the year, is a program called micro resurfacing. This is something that we are going to keep in the forefront, because this is a program that we can revisit our roads in an 8 to 10 year period and not let them fall into disrepair to the point where you have to mill and pave them. Micro resurfacing is about a third of what paving and milling is. So this is a program that is going to come to Kinnelon. It will not happen this year, but it is in our plans to implement this. It'll give us a better driving ability, cost ability, and just an overall better feel of our community. So that is more things to come. Military banners, I want to bring this up at this point because the DPW will start tomorrow placing the military banners that in the horseshoe around the complex of Boro. This is something I am quite frankly extremely proud of. A couple of things that I've been most proud of that I've been involved in since I've been a councilman is Veterans Day and setting forth this military banner program. I just think it is such a great way for Kinnelon to honor all the people that served our country, and quite a few of them lost their lives or lost limbs or suffer from it to this day. So tomorrow in the circle, the first set of military banners will start going up, and extremely excited about that and really proud of that. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for the borough of Kinnelon. Lastly, but not least, garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Having never dealt with a garbage contract before, it was quite interesting and educational. And sometimes in life, when you get hit with such bad news, you have to allow the bad news to come and understand that you may have to accept it now, but you don't have to accept it for the future. We were very proactive, and by we, I mean Charlie, Daniel, myself, John Whitehead. We were very proactive. We got in touch with the borough of Bloomingdale. We've secured a bid from them for them to start doing our recycling. And when the bid came in, it was an amazing amount of money of savings. It was about $140,000. However, this goes back to the learning curve. We'd already entered into a 2-year contract. So as of right now, we cannot exit the contract. However, from a class that we took down in Atlantic City in November, and through other research, talking to other garbage vendors, there was a point that was very clear that had been stated by contractors. If you absorb your tipping fees for your disposal on your recycling, you will save money. That was the constant thing I kept hearing. So over the past 4 to 5 months, we have been extremely diligent and have worked this to the point where we have a resolution on our agenda this evening, which we're going to be voting on. Kinnelon will now finally be picking up, paying for the tipping fees for recycling. I have looked at the numbers through the past 3 years. I have looked at the spikes of the high cost per tonnage of disposal. Right now, the Borough of Kinnelon pays about $25,000 in contract a month to dispose of its recycling waste. Estimated right now on our current tonnages and our current price that we will be paying the facility, we are going to average anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 a month of savings. This is huge because we have 1.5 years of a contract left. Now there is a cycle, tonnages change from month to month, but even at its largest spike as of last year, we still will save $8,000 to $9,000 a month. So this is a very big deal and a very step in the right direction of how to battle the monster of that garbage contract. Also, 6 months out from the expiration of the garbage contract, I've been reaching out to other vendors. They have told me that they're willing to look at a proposal. They did not state in which they would give one. However, I'm going to be diligent and try to stay on that, because what happens, most municipalities, you only ever get one bid. And it's a problem. Every municipality deals with it. Every council in the past has had to deal with it here in Kinnelon. It's not a guarantee. It's just an option to keep pursuing other ways to make things more affordable and make more sense and have more competition, especially when it comes to garbage. Recreation, Melanie wrote me about 50 paragraphs, so I am going to summarize. Recreation, lacrosse. Lacrosse season is coming to an end soon. What a successful season they've had. They've got one clinic that is still running, and they are going to finish that up at the end of this weekend. Tri-Borough baseball, Tri-Borough softball, and Kinnelon recreational baseball are still running strong. We've had great turnouts in the number of kids. It's been a very, very successful season, and kudos to Melanie Shuckers and all her hard work and everything she does with recreation and her dedication to the Borough of Kinnelon. I think it's really spectacular. Football and cheer registration is open until May 31st. There are currently 15 for flag, 70 for football, and 75 for cheer. That are really great numbers. We are now offering pickleball lessons beginning Tuesday for beginners, intermediate, and those who just want to brush up on the rules and play. It will be on Tuesday and Thursdays for 4 weeks. Overwhelming requests for this, so we will gauge if this is a good way to service adults in our area. Pickleball, as I hear from everybody, is the fastest growing sport, so it's a hot button issue. Summer camp. Melanie has done a fabulous job with summer camp. Kinnelon summer camp just keeps growing every year. First session 120, second session 115. We're offering several after camp options now, which is a huge thing for parents. They drop their kids off and the camp ends and they may be at work or they may have an appointment. Now there's going to be an aftercare. I think this is going to be very useful for all the parents that have signed their kids up for the summer camp. First session boys and girls basketball, second session basketball and art. We will be sending girls basketball to KHS on a bus and baseball to BAF on a bus. Registrants will be paying for the transportation, and adult will be on the bus with them. Lastly, budgetary items. Melanie and I and John Whitehead and Joe Niosi have been soliciting bids for the reclamation of the 1985 tennis courts over at the Booton Avenue field that was recently purchased over the last 2 years. A lot of hard work was done by council, previous council and current council to solicit that. I honestly feel that some of our recreational field facilities are in desperate need of repair and upgrade. We've made good inroads with savings on the Booton Avenue field with installing a septic system there now and no longer wasting money on pumping contractors. So this is something that will come to the council once the proposals come in, and we'll discuss it and try to budget for it and see if we can make it happen. I know the pickleball players of Kinnelon and other areas will be extremely excited, and I think the tennis players will be excited if they can get the pickleballers off their courts. So that's it for me.
Councilman, thank you very much for your report. Also, the military banners, amazing. Thank you for that. Tipping fees, thank you. And as I say to everybody up here, a lot of people don't realize just how much time we all spend doing things for the borough. So, Sean, thank you, and everybody else up here, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the guy pulling his microphone. I saw you over there. Ordinance, library, coordinating, Councilman Russo.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
You know, first let me just express the same sentiments that my colleagues have with Charlie Daniel. Charlie's been not only an outstanding CFO and administrator, but a dear friend. He'll really be missed. We will continue to text off hours about hockey and what's going on like that. And one of the things that I am going to require is that the new CFO administrator or administrators, the hockey fans, with the one exception, they will be totally disqualified if they're Boston Bruin or Philadelphia Flyer fans.
I think
So that ain't happening.
that was in the job description that we took.
So, but Charlie, again, thank you. It's always been a pleasure to work with you, and I've learned a lot from you, and we got a lot accomplished. So thank you very much. And if do we have to vote?
I'll vote no.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, you're not leaving, so.
No. And the next guy, we're going to have, probably his name was the easiest name to remember, too.
Except everybody got it wrong.
They threw an S.
Yes.
They threw an S at the end for the one down in Georgia.
Thank you, Charlie. Mayor, I think I've made it my life's work with these ordinances to make sure that Mr. Giblin earns his keep. I've worked closely with Brian on a number of ordinances, and we keep, I think, that process going very well. Tonight, we're adopting 3 ordinances, hopefully, which involves dogs, marijuana, and peace and good order, and I don't know how they're all related, but somehow they are. We're also going to introduce tonight an ordinance to change the membership of the Sustainability and Open Space Committee. One of the difficulties we ran into with that committee was when it was constituted, we had a requirement that members from the Historical Committee, the Planning Board, and the, no, not Board of Adjustment, but the
Planning board and rec.
and Rec, be members of that committee. Well, those offshoot committees couldn't get people who wanted to serve on the Sustainable Committee, so we're amending the requirement that members come from those 3 committees. They can still come from them, but it's no longer a requirement. We want to change the name of the Kinnelon Municipal Alliance, which we've called Camelot for many, many years, and we've seen the little knight that's out on the bulletin board out front, and it's kind of dated, and we wanted to bring it up and kind of make it similar to the other designations we have in the borough, which is K-Fast, K-Fresh, et cetera, so we're gonna change that to K-Care. So those are two fairly easy ordinances. And then we have a bond ordinance which is going to be involving road paving and other capital improvements. So that's it for ordinances. As I said, Mr. Giblin and I have been in constant communication on various things we have in the works. So as time progresses, and we bring these things closer to fruition, they get disseminated to members, we discuss them, and then either we bring them up for adoption or not. Okay, moving along, the Board of Adjustment met recently, and they entertained an application from the Wash Hounds Car Wash, which is on Route 23, and they are going to be installing vacuum stations outside of the car wash area in the parking lot, the far end of their parking lot. So that was a rather lengthy process, but that approval was given by the Board of Adjustment, so that's going to happen in the near future. The library sustained a lot of damage from water because of a pump on the heating system failed and created a water situation. The pump was up in the attic, water filtered down to the second floor, the first floor, et cetera. Most of the collection wasn't damaged, fortunately, but there was extensive damage to ceilings, walls, carpet tiles, et cetera. We had to bring in professionals to clean up all the water, all of the moisture out. They had to cut holes in many areas along the base of sheetrock so that they can get blowers, et cetera, up there so that water and moisture didn't collect behind the walls. The library is now open for business, so you can go to the library as usual. There's still debris around, there's still construction going on, but the library is open for business. However, with the upcoming election, it was decided that the area in the library which is usually used for voting would not be accessible. So 3 districts that normally vote there, so it's District 3, District 4, and District 6. So if you normally vote in the library, you will not vote there. You'll vote upstairs at the far end of the hall in the big conference room. Okay, so that's District 3, 4, and 6. All right, the normal voting that takes place down here will happen, normal voting that takes place in Basin Lakes Club will happen, but
Not the council chambers,
not the council chamber.
No, the rec meeting room.
Yeah, the rec meeting room down the end of the hall.
so you have to top of the stairs, make a right.
That's right. So, you know, this will be on your sample ballot when you receive it, and there'll be signs posted outside on the marquee and on Facebook to remind everybody that that is the situation. You also, of course, can vote early if you like, or by mail. So there are any number of options available to you to vote at that time. Okay, one other note, on Memorial Day, which is May 29th, we're going to have a ceremony right here out in front of Borough Hall. Mayor Frieda is unable to attend that ceremony, and I'm honored that he has asked me to be the master of ceremonies for that event. There'll be speakers from the council, from other walks of life. There'll be folks from the Boy Scouts, from the Volunteer Fire Company, which will honor our service members. So that's Monday, May 29th at 10 a.m. So we encourage everybody to come out and show their respect for our fallen service members. And do you want to read into new business for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And that, Mayor, is my report. Thank you.
Okay. I just feel like we haven't had much luck with the library and our historical building. It just seems like we've, we have a new insurance guy, and we've called him more in the last 3 months than,
Yeah.
it's 10 years. It's crazy. But, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to utilities and technology. Councilman Charles.
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, for the primary election, remember early voting starts June 2nd? Please, Spooten Township's and Denville Municipal Building, please take advantage of it. It really saves you a lot of time. The great news is it will not be a repeat performance of last year. Every district will have 2 new voting machines with the digital pad. It's fabulous. I went through it last 2 days. So we will have 2 voting machines per district, like we used to have. The whole county will have that now, so we will avoid these backlogs like we had last year. It was rough, but I wanted to give you the good news on that, and I think you'll enjoy the new signed digital pads. It's very, very quick, very easy. That's one. The second thing is, everybody's probably wondering, we did get some tissue samples from Charlie. He is being cloned, and
You don't want to clone me.
it's too late. You're already up there in the microwave.
Talk to my wife, she'll say you don't want to clone me.
She's the one that suggested it. No, but anyway, we've had a fabulous 6 years. We're able to get the borough finances back on order. Budgets were being submitted on time down to Trenton, which allows us to go for bid and go for grants. There's a checklist down in Trenton, and one of the things at the top of the list is, are you as a municipality submitting your budgets on time? Because remember, the budgets are reviewed by Trenton, and they do approve them. It's good or bad, they do review the budgets. And Charlie, thank you for getting this all on board, allowing us to, as you know, in the last 6 years, with Charlie, we did close to $7 million in grants between open space, roads. We've done very, very well. It's a great deal of work. And the upside is that tonight we'll be moving on approving Millennium, which will give us a portal to all the different county, state, and federal grants that may be available. It'll allow employees here, department members, to go online and search for grants that may be applicable for us to go after. And Millennium not only provides that access, they also will work with us for a fee to construct the grants. And these grants take days, they don't take hours. We can prove that. But we've done close to $7 million in grants between open space and roads, fields. I mean, the fields alone, we did, what, $340,000 in grants just to get the Boot Nav field. It cost us $60 grand. We did very, very well. We worked very well with public service and electric. And we put the 2 boilers into the library. And again, Vince, that cost us, what, $70,000?
Out of almost 400.
Out of $400,000, it costed us, the taxpayers, $70,000 to put 2 new big state-of-the-art boilers in. Unfortunately, they're in the penthouse on the 3rd floor, and so we had the leak 10 days ago. When one pump went, it caused a problem. Thank God it wasn't in January or February when it was ice cold out there. We could have had a real mess. The other furnace, as you know, is shut down. But as of, I believe yesterday, May 17th, well, that pump was replaced. There was taking no chances. That pump was replaced with a new pump. And guess what? It's working. So we have a boiler working, 1 boiler working in the library. And that's great news. Until the insurance companies decide what they want to do over there, which will be interesting. We'll see how that plays out on the other pump. But going down, Charlie, thank you. And what we've done has been incredible the last 6 years, and we really appreciate it. It's your guidance, your perseverance, and we're glad you were the bad guy with Ray. Sorry, Ray, we let Charlie be the bad guy. Because it was nonstop. Everything here is done with the auditor, with Charlie. We monitor all the money. We're careful, because we know how tight it is. And that's why we saved that money last year, plus the bond money that was unspent, which will be available in the next several months. we did very well as a borough, and thank you. I tried to get, Willie Nelson here to do a benefit for you, but he didn't think you were old enough. But again, thank you, Red. Moving on to utilities, as I mentioned, we did get one of the boilers up in the library up and running with a new pump. It's working great, so the building's open. And the briner will finish Monday in our penthouse in the municipal building with all the air exchanges and condensers. That will be finished upstairs on Monday. They will start downstairs with the 2 huge units in the basement. So the goal is, we're getting there. Hopefully we'll be on the schedule and have it done in a couple more weeks. Once the boilers are replaced downstairs, that will answer a question, Mayor, from last week's meeting, why there was water running. They heard water running up in the roof. The new boilers, the new piping will alleviate that. So there won't be a problem. Not that there is a problem, but that will be corrected with all the new air conditioning and HVAC work going in. So
I don't hear it running tonight, so that's good.
no, it's funky, and as long as it's not leaking, we're very happy, and it's keeping it tolerable for the staff. Because we had a beautiful day, global warming today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day. Moving down to the Denise water tank. I guess you heard me reported last week. The tank has been drained on the week of the 27th through the 29th, April 27th through the 29th. It is drained. The portable pneumatic water tank is up and running. All the affected homeowners have been working with us because we have to watch the water coming out of that temporary system. We had a setback when they went up there to do the demolition of the tank. They found a raven's bird nest up on one of the upper platforms on the ladderway going up the tank. And I guess you can imagine this day and age with social media, the birds are very happy. We're waiting for them to leave so we can start demolishing that tank. And I guess that's the upside. We caught it in time so the birds are fine. We're not in any trouble. And moving along, we will be meeting next week with Charlie. We set it up. We're meeting with the second water meter company, Rio Supply. They are all are part of the state contract service, so we are getting the best price. And so that's underway. We also completed, and it's really very minor landscaping on the extension of the utilities up Walnut Lane for the new emergency shelter, community center, senior center. In the process of extending it all the way up Walnut Lane to the right of way, where you make the right turn, we replaced a fire hydrant with Butler, and we installed 2 new fire hydrants. So our residents in that area have fire hydrants, which is good. And we reminded several of them to please contact our home insurance policies and upgrade their policies because it will make a difference that they do have 24/7 city water. God forbid we need it. And the fire department did do a good job. We appreciate them. They went up and they pressure tested it. So we're very happy with that. The next phase of the emergency shelter senior community center will be putting a group together to work on the field house, and eventually getting third and fourth phase of the 10,000 square foot building that we'll need to do some redesign to. The county is very interested in what we're doing, and they're willing to work with us on grants. We may be able to apply to up to 80% in grants for that building if all goes well. That's huge for us. This building, as looked at preliminary by the Red Cross, is 600 on the main floor, and then the breakout rooms on the second floor will be for special needs, special health conditions, expectant mothers. That will not change, but there will be changing, so we can hopefully put a rig there and have 24/7 OEM Morris County coverage. That's my report on utilities. On technology, again, we have a lot going on. Our goal before the end of this year is to complete our Tier 1 accreditation, moving into Tier 2 and Tier 3 accreditation with the state regarding cybersecurity, so we can reduce our deductible from $85,000 to $25,000 per incident, because we had a problem several years ago. And the Joint Insurance Fund learned a lesson as well during this ordeal. Tonight, Resolution 5.05.23 will be approved, and that will allow Charlie to move forward with the digitization of the remaining borough records, and that's all the Board of Health and 100 years of borough minutes and correspondence. It's all going to be digitized. So again, congratulations, Charlie. I know it's been an ordeal, and we've been able to do it. We also met last week. We're going to be meeting with another provider regarding wiring and telephones for the library and the Borough Hall. They're the original wiring. They need to be updated significantly. They can't handle the change in technology. We need to do that, as well as allow the PD, police department, to have reliable, state-of-the-art telecommunications. It's very important. PD is working to upgrade their servers. That needs to be done by October. The borough upgraded its internet to the Microsoft Cloud. It's all done, it's all complete. We reduced one server, pick up a little bit of money. That's been complete. We completed on April 26th the helicopter inspection of all the big high-tension power lines down through the end of Kinnelon Road, through the back, all the way down to Montville, Tawako. That was completed. They found no hot spots. I tried to get them to see if they'd offer sightseeing tours. And use the new ultraviolet infrared cameras they have. We didn't do very well on that. We did receive from the county, we'll probably post this online, it was financed by the county through a grant from the federal government, Homeland Security, on the new FirstNet emergency system across the country. Since we're in ground zero of New York's Manhattan, we are included in it. They finished their, Motorola engineers came out and finished their analysis. A few dead spots were up in the middle of the parks where they could not get up there and do it. There wasn't anything up there to test. We are at about 95% coverage by the feds. That's a big deal for us, because between Jefferson, West Milford, Rockaway Township, there are, with the mountains and the iron ore, there are extensive problems with communications. But for emergency purposes, we're Morris County, Kinnelon is at 95%. That's a big deal. That's good for us. When we decide to go for grants and we go for equipment upgrades, that we are approved and we meet federal norms. Just checking everything else. There's so much going on. We did complete back on Denise Drive yesterday. The county emergency communications came out. They did their maintenance on the communications building. If you see the building alongside the water tank, that's all full of computers and repeaters and radio transmitters and receivers for the borough and for the county. And you can imagine it gets hot, it gets warm. So they upgraded and did the maintenance yesterday. They're all done. And they said that the Raven watched them the whole time. And I said it was interesting to see this big bird staring at them while they were going in and out with the equipment. And Mayor, that's my report. And thank you again, Charlie. We're going to miss you big time.
Mayor, can I add one thing to
Yes, of course.
Councilman Charles' report? As a member of the Technology Committee, I want to acknowledge John Canning. John was at a workshop meeting, and he has extensive knowledge in computers and networks and servers and wiring and all of this other kind of stuff. And he's attended a couple of meetings with us, with some vendors. It was nice to be able to sit back and let these people who know the technology talk to each other. And John has really been very helpful. The one problem I have is he sends us these emails and I have no clue what he's talking about. But I just want to acknowledge he's been really helpful and continues to be.
And he's volunteered to be with us at these meetings, it's great.
Yeah.
So we have an added excellent resource who spent a good deal of his career as an electrical engineer, communication engineer with this, and we're getting this for free, not bad. This is how we all win together, and that's the important thing, that we win together, and we stop all the nonsense, but we win together and communicate.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, now with a really fast report, finance and, no, that's what happens when you go last.
Tell me about it.
Finance and public safety.
They just saved you that much of my presentations. I will do my best, Mayor, to
Yes,
go
thank you.
in
Councilman Sherrill.
an efficient manner, and I will touch on some things that everybody did talk about, just because they're that important. I want to make sure I hit them. So again, first, Charlie, thank you so much for all the hard work, not just on this year's budget, but all the budgets and overseeing our community for the last 6 years. Good luck in your new position. Thank you, everyone, for passing the budget. It is a collective effort. We all work together on it. You know, I don't think there's one person up here that didn't have some sort of an input or a say in this budget, and it was great to see everybody vote yes tonight. One thing about the budget, though, is it is an ever-changing document in the hopes of going down, and Councilman maybe alluded to that, and he's a humble man, but I tell you, he when he's on point with something, he doesn't let up on it, and he was determined to work as hard as he could with those involved to make sure that we could pay those tipping fees and start lowering those items. So he's a humble man, I have to say. Paving. So paving, we are going to introduce tonight an extremely robust paving plan, and I say robust because on average, usually there's around like $400,000 in paving that we do per year. Financing and DPW committee has held many meetings on what we could do to kind of ramp up this process, because after discussing with our borough professionals, there is more need to pave within our community. We worked with our DPW superintendent, our borough engineer, to come up with a list of streets and an outline of framework for the next 3 years. Tonight we'll be voting on, and don't get nervous when I say the number, we're going to be voting on roughly $1.6 million worth of roads. And what's great about that number is, again, don't get nervous, there's no real impact to the community when I say that number. And no impact to the community, again, because of everybody's efforts, new and old, all the work that the Finance Committee did in the past, Finance Committee in the present, so I will just say the Finance Committees, because we're all one, we're not past, we're not present, we all work together. So what we did was we worked with our auditors and our CFO, and we mined the last 10 years of bonded projects that were completed, and we went project by project. A lot of these projects that were completed under the anticipated bond amount that was allotted for the borough. So for example, if the bond was for $1 million and the project came in at $800,000, there was $200,000 of unspent bond, unallocated bond. So what we did was we started issuing cancellations on those open bonds, reappropriated them, and made them available to fund these projects, so that, again, everything that we're doing, everything that I just talked about, will all be done under the debt plan that the finance committees have put in place. So there's no real impact financially in terms of an extra burden for what we're going to be voting on tonight. And that $1.6 billion number of worth of paving comes in a cornucopia of items in regards to cancelized debt, bonding, DOT grants, and utilizing some of our American Rescue money. That money, as we talked about earlier, is $1,035,000. And after some great discussions, we will be starting to spend this money that we did get in 2001. And when I say spending, a lot of the stuff that's on here tonight isn't being voted to so much spend the money. So what we vote on tonight isn't meaning, so if we're buying 100 widgets, we're not buying them tonight. We're basically just certifying the funds so that our CFO can say, the funds are there for those widgets. Now go get prices, go get estimates, and now we can talk about that as a council. So the funds that are being authorized here, it's exactly what we're doing. We're just authorizing them, and now we're going to start that bidding process to see what avenues we want to go in. But we have to start somewhere, and we have to start by authorizing the funds first. So you will see a list of projects. here tonight that we will be working on. We'll be working on voting tonight to certify funds for the potential upgrade of our 20-plus-year-old outdated and obsolete police desk at no cost to the taxpayer. We'll be using ARP funds, as Councilman Charles mentioned, to digitalize our health records, archive our council meetings back to 1922. No more storage units, monthly fees, and hopefully these documents will be available on an instant basis, especially our health records regarding septic tanks on a property. We should be able to access them a lot faster. Again, no cost to the taxpayer. We'll be replacing and upgrading police tablets in our patrol vehicles. Again, no expense to the taxpayer. We have a long list of projects that we're working on, and our goal is to make sure that we use these ARP, American Rescue Plan funds, as best as possible, but more importantly, we use this money to better our community. All these projects that are outlined here tonight, if it wasn't for this ARP money, we would have had to have bond for these projects. And I don't want anybody to think, again, I talk within wants and needs. These projects are not wants, they are needs. They are needed projects that if it was not for this money, we would have had to have gone into debt. So we're very fortunate to have this money to start checking these items off. I mentioned a couple of months back that one of the biggest and best gems of our community is our rec department. And I think we do need to start looking, as Councilman talked about, Councilman Maybe, with our tennis courts. We need to start investing in our youth and our facilities. Our tennis courts are in dire need of repair, and this is one of the projects on the long list of capital items that was shared throughout the entire council. We hope to look at how we can replace these tennis courts, tennis, pickleball, and we will be discussing this in the next council meeting. So please, if you're interested in these projects, please come to work sessions, public meetings. It's all going to be discussed out in the open as we start chipping away these projects. And we want you guys to see these projects that are happening. We want to make sure you see your tax dollars in use. You'll see Councilman Charles again alluded to Millennium Strategies. It's a great thing that we're doing. We're going to have a portal that will have access to all the grants, and then when we decide on if this is the grant for our community, we will be able to either do them ourselves or work with Millennium Strategies, who specialize in grant writing. So I'm really glad that we're able to see that on the agenda tonight. And Mayor, today is day 135 of serving as a councilman in the Borough of Kinnelon, and I'm very proud of all the work that we are accomplishing here on the council, and I'm excited to build on the momentum of getting things done. Thank you.
Seems a lot longer.
I'm sorry, I tried.
No, I meant in 135 days.
Oh. Yeah, my thinning hair says it's a lot more than 135 days.
Hey, I had a full head of hair when I started.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, we're moving to hearing from the public. We're going to ask people to come up, hearing from the public. We have a 5-minute timing constraint, and you will direct your questions to the mayor, and I will disperse it out to councilmen, and I know they can answer the questions.
Hi. The first thing I'd like to say is that I agree with most of the comments that you made in your report, Mayor. We do have an amazing group of people up here on the council. We have an amazing group of volunteers, and we have an amazing group of employees. And is wonderful because of all the volunteer and all of the staff we have and all the residents. I also believe that differences of opinions should be discussed, and that members of the council should include all members of the council in the discussion, and we should listen and we should respect all opinions. And in the spirit of discussion, and including the residents of Kinnelon in this discussion, I would like to discuss some of the specific aspects of what you brought up. I'm also not a fan of social media posts that are general, that state things that are misinformation, inaccurate, or lies. I'm more interested in specific comments, so that's what I'm going to be addressing at this point. There has been a lot of conversation out there about how we approach things, and I'm going to direct this to you, but you may want to have your attorney give you the advice. What is the difference between pilots' long-term tax exemptions abatements and the real estate taxes paid to a borough based upon their assessed value?
Sure.
So a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, is where a developer has to make a deal, the borough has to agree to it, the mayor and council have to approve it, and then the taxes are based generally upon a percentage of the profit that that property brings in. So instead of being assessed at whatever the true value of the property is and having the taxes based upon that, it's a percentage of the profit. So generally, it's a better deal for the developer. And in addition to that, in most of those pilot programs, the money all goes to the borough. It does not go to the county. And there can be a portion of it to go to the school, but that would have to be negotiated.
Okay, that was my understanding, that it's a percentage of the revenues. There's an allowable profit calculation. 5% goes to the county, 95% goes to the town, nothing goes to the schools. Is that fairly accurate?
Well, you can negotiate and give the school whatever you
That is part of
negotiate.
it. You can
Yeah.
negotiate many different aspects of it, but generally speaking, it's to give the developer an incentive to build.
Yeah, and there is, however, by law, there's a floor of 10% that they have to pay. It could be
Okay.
more, but it can't be less than that.
There's a lot of things that have been negotiated. Who at the borough is responsible to negotiate with Fair Share Housing Center in our next round that begins on July 1st, 2025?
Who the borough will be?
Who has the legal responsibility for negotiating with Fair Share Housing?
I would assume, Mayor, it would be the borough attorney unless you approve of a special counsel.
So it would be the
That's what it's
borough,
done in the
the
past.
borough and a council that gets involved in that, not the planning board.
The borough council has to arrive at a deal with Fair Share Housing.
Yes. Okay. So that would be the council. So if the borough was going to hire a planner to assist with the co-op and Fair Share Housing next round, wouldn't it be preferable if the borough has responsibility for the negotiation, that the borough hire the planner and that we centralize it here at the borough,
Yes, that's what we're doing right now.
as opposed to having the planning board hire somebody?
Correct.
Okay. Who at the borough decides if the borough is going to move forward with granting long-term tax exemptions for a redevelopment project? Who has the legal authority to do that?
It's a council decision, majority of the council.
So it would be a council decision, okay? So that redevelopment, the decision to move forward with the redevelopment plan is retained here. It is not done at the planning board level.
Correct.
Okay. Does the public have any say in the granting of a tax exemption?
I don't know what you mean by tax.
So if we do a redevelopment plan, does the public have any input into granting a tax exemption to a developer?
I don't know what you mean by tax. You mean pilot?
Yes, a payment in lieu of,
Yeah.
yes, it's a tax.
It's not a tax exemption, it's a pilot. It's a different form of taxing the property, but the public would have the right to come and have their feelings heard at a council meeting just like this.
Okay. It's my understanding that in the process of a redevelopment plan, and when a redeveloper is designated, and then there is a financial agreement with the developer and the council, that they will apply for a tax exemption. And that's part of the agreement, is that correct?
A pilot would be a part of the
Correct.
agreement. Yes.
When I talk about redevelopment is generally, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, is a tool, a state sanctioned tool to provide a tax incentive or a tax abatement, a tax exemption to a developer to encourage development.
It's an incentive to a developer to redevelop a site, yes.
Yes, but it's a tax exemption. That they are exempt from taxation. They make payments in lieu of tax, correct?
Yes, they make a payment in lieu of taxes rather than paying as everybody else does on the assessed value.
Okay, so the public can come to a public meeting with the council and have their comments heard at that point?
Absolutely.
Okay. Does the school district have any say with regards to a pilot program, no taxes to the school? Do we include the school district in any of that considerations?
We've had a conversation with them, but again, we have nothing in front of us.
Okay. Let me address that then. On August 8, 2019, the Meridia Capadaglia Group presented the Meridia Hilltop Senior Village April 2nd, 2019 plans for property that is situated behind Bed Bath & Beyond on Lead Mine Road. They also presented a pro forma pilot payment schedule for 212 apartments. All of these assumptions that I'll be talking about, pardon me, regarding the real estate taxes, effective gross income, pilot payments over the 30-year period were determined and presented to Kinnelon by the Meridia Capitagli Group, and I have totaled the columns. And in the columns, the total effective gross income with a 3% annual growth over the 30-year period is $289 million. The total percentage of pilot taxes to municipality, they get 95%, the county gets 5%, would be $31,143,941 over 30 years. However, the total market taxes based upon the tax assessed value at 3% annual growth was $52,276,977. The Capitagli Group showed the borough it would receive about $31 million in pilot payments over the 30-year life of the pilot project. However, Kinnelon would get more real estate taxes from the property based upon property assessed value over the 30 years. Kinnelon would receive an extra $19 million that would be used to support the education of our students. This is because none of the pilot payments go to the school, and about 70% of our real estate tax payments goes to the school district. So I know many of you were not here on August 8, 2019, so this is not a fair question to you, but the mayor was at that meeting. When we talk about the redevelopment plan and providing an incentive to a developer or a tax exemption, I understand we have a need to create ratables, but why would we give a developer an almost $20 million tax break to put in apartments? If we want to increase ratables, which everybody does, we don't talk about commercial, we talk about residential, why would we give a tax exemption? I just don't understand that. So that's just my big question. The August 8, 2019 concept plan presentation was not on the agenda for the mayor and council's workshop on August 8th. Our attorney advised us that this was okay because no action was going to be taken. In 2023, at least 2 current council members have stated on the record that they do not know enough about the proposed pilot project to say if they would support the tax exemption for these apartments. I completed an Open Public Records Act request for the borough to provide a copy of all borough, mayor, clerk, council, chief financial officer, correspondence, and any materials between or provided by Meridia, LLC, and any of the representatives related to the proposed redevelopment of Block 57601, lots 101 and 102. The only thing I received was a sound recording of the August 8, 2019 Mayor and Council Workshop meeting. I was told there was no correspondence. So I say to myself, how can the borough move forward with a redevelopment plan when it's a tool to give a developer a tax exemption from paying real estate taxes when there is no documentation of the proposal at Borough Hall? There has been no presentation of the proposal to the public. There has been no public discussion about granting this huge tax break to a developer. There has been no public discussion of changing the last undeveloped lot in the commercial zone in the Highlands planning section to a residential zone. No public discussion of waiving Kinnelon's Heights building height and parking requirements that would be required to build the 212 apartments on this site. And there has been no public evaluation of the unintended consequences of these variances on other properties or development in our borough. This is the next big event in Kinnelon. It's time to step up and be transparent. Invite the Meridia Dagley Group to advertise, present their apartment project to the residents of Kinnelon in an open Facebook meeting. Let the 10,000 residents be a part of the discussion. For your information, Kinnelon has done a redevelopment study of this site. It does meet the state criteria. It has not authorized a redevelopment plan. and it has not designated a redeveloper for the site. However, the Meridia Papadagli Group is moving forward with this project. On April 14, 2023, Stonefield Engineering, their engineering firm, has requested confirmation that Butler Electric can provide electric service to the proposed development of 250 units at Block 57601, Lot 101 and 102 at Leadmine Road. The Meridia Papadagli Group does not need a tax exemption to build these apartments. Their pro forma financial analysis shows that they will earn $289 million over 30 years. They will need significant variances to build the proposed 212 apartments, and they will need to provide the evidence as to why these variances should be granted. And they should pay taxes based on assessed property values like the rest of Kinnelon residences. and
Tammy,
property
thank you. I'll let you go. 10 minutes, thank you.
Thank you. If anybody else would like to donate their time to me.
I will donate her time.
Yeah.
That's not permitted.
It's a different subject. I'm allowed to have 5 minutes on different subjects. Am I correct? on
No,
that?
the council is a 5-minute limit per speaker.
I have the bylaws here, sir. And the bylaws do say that we're entitled to 5 minutes on the conversation, and that I can come at the end and
Okay, go
continue.
ahead. It's a new conversation.
Thank you, sir.
But doesn't she have to wait till after everyone else is out of the audience?
It's up to the mayor's decision.
You can continue.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate that. There's been a lot of comments out there about COA, and I just want to provide some information to the best of my ability. The third round for COA is from 1999 to July 1st, 2025. And I was involved with the negotiation with Fair Share Housing for that round. Fair Share Housing Center housing allocation for Kinnelon for the 1999 to 2025 period started with or established at 276 affordable housing units. 276 affordable housing units times 5 equals 1,380 apartments to be built in Kinnelon for the third round, which ends July 1st. That's what we started with. We negotiated it down. Mayor, how many apartments have been built in Kinnelon during 1999 to 2025?
No.
It's a lot, right? We had a lot, Bill?
None.
No.
None. Why do you think no apartments have been built anywhere in Kinnelon during this period?
Well, I know you put an overlay over Stop Shop. That was one thing. I mean, I was part of this. I was involved in the council. Can you tell me why you think it's true?
Well, I think the reason is because we had an agreement that was accepted by the court. Mayor Collins and Councilman Charles Russo and Iago were involved in the agreement. We talked earlier about who gets involved in it. It's at the council level. It's not at the planning board level. So Kinnelon did settle with Fair Share Housing. Because they settled and it was accepted by the court, developers and property owners were prevented from intervening and suing us. The Superior Court approved our Fair Share Housing element plan, and we were granted a third round judgment of compliance and repose. And that's why we haven't had any lawsuits.
What do you think is going to happen in 25 when Stop and Shop says, hey, you allowed me to put COA units in here. Now they have that against us. I have to fight that battle.
So when you talk about that overlay zone,
Yes.
that overlay zone permits them to build 6 apartments per acre.
Right.
It doesn't let them build
And you don't think
300.
they're going to use that against us as we're moving forward? If he says, I'm willing to give them the whole 100 that Kinnelon has.
That overlay zone is an overlay zone over commercial base. So one of the things that the previous administration insisted on, matter of fact, we were going to walk away from the negotiation table, was that Kinnelon cannot afford to lose its commercial ratables. So we said,
The one that's been there for 50 years behind Leadmine Road? And
no, we're talking about Kin Mall right now.
Oh, okay.
Kin Mall was a commercial site, and Fair Share Housing in the negotiation process said, I want, or we want, an overlay zone. We want to see some, and we said, you can't just have residential. We need to keep fair, we need to keep the first floor retail, or commercial, because we can't lose that. So they agreed, and they agreed to 6. Where in northern New Jersey do you see a redeveloper or developer go for 6 apartments per acre? They're building hundreds. They're building these
Correct.
huge
So
4-story.
he's not gonna build 6, he's gonna want hundreds.
So what's gonna happen is, we're gonna get our next round, and I guess this is for our attorney, is when do you think we're going to get Fair Share Housing Center's new numbers effective July 1st? When do they start manipulating that information?
Probably a year, 6 months to a year before the
So soon you think?
2024 in all likelihood.
Okay. We don't have an idea. Does anybody have an idea of what method they're gonna use, what, methodology they're gonna use, or how much numbers? It's all an unknown.
I think that's why we're putting out an RFQ for a planner that's specialized.
But that'll be done at the council level, not at the planning board level.
Correct, we already
Correct.
discussed that.
Yeah, we're planning now.
Yeah, okay.
Anthony,
I'm sorry.
So the next step would be for us to have the council hire a planner. Should we hire this person, do you recommend we hire this person before we get the numbers, or should we wait to find out what the methodology they're gonna use and what the numbers are gonna be? What do you think?
Is that directed at me?
Yes, sir, or the mayor, since that's all I was talking to.
so better sooner than later.
Okay. So back to your question about Kinnelon. But I'm going to start with one more thing. At this point, we are protected from anybody coming after us and putting in these 100 apartments at Kinnelon. Right now, Lincoln Park is putting in 220 apartments.
Correct.
As a result of redevelopment studies from the Meridia Capadaglia group.
Correct.
That is from their prior round. They were not protected like Kinnelon was, because Mayor Collins and his group, including you 3 up there,
And myself.
no, I think you would resign by then.
Yeah, but I didn't vote on it, but I was part of the planning.
Okay?
Thank you.
That's probably true, because
It is
you
true.
left in January.
No, it is true.
But the reason Lincoln Park is putting in those 220 is because they didn't have this protection that Kinnelon has.
Okay.
So back to the overlay zone. Why would you think that that's bad? I've heard lots of people say that that overlay zone is bad for Kinnelon.
Because we don't have any other locations for COA housing in Kinnelon, and he is going to use that against us. And that's a thought, Tammy, we're not into
This
this
is
mode.
this is important. to
I've
know
met
this.
with Capadaglia, I know none of that information. When I know that information, this town will know that information. Right now, I have nothing. You're talking 2019, he came in front of us, we all.
I'm not talking about Capadaglia, I'm talking about Kinnelon.
Yes, you are. There's
No,
things
no,
about
they're
Capadaglia.
not the same thing.
No, they're completely different.
I'm just telling you, I don't know the answers to these questions.
No,
We are
but
trying
we're
to hire
having a discussion,
professionals.
and discussions are useful. And please listen to me when I say this, don't just discount what I'm saying. It's important. So when we talk about Kinnelon, they've already told us they wanted to put 300 units there, and they said they're coming back after us in 2025. That's regardless of the overlay zone or not. And the reason is this: we're in 97% of our town is in Highlands Preservation. That lot is probably 80% impervious. It has water, it has sewer, they've already intended to come at us, and we need to prepare for that. When you talk about affordable housing units, sometimes we get lost in the numbers, and we forget what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are low and moderate income people, and they have special needs that need to be addressed by not just these apartments, but by the amenities that are provided for these people. Be it a mass transit bus stop, be it a grocery store, banks, pharmacies. Those amenities are not down by BJ's and Lowe's. Those amenities are up here in our town. So when you talk about providing for the types of people, it's not just giving them an apartment, it's giving them what they need to survive and thrive. And putting them over down by Lowe's is a mistake, in my opinion.
2 minutes.
Okay. The only other thing I really do want to say, and I mean this, and he's not here right now, is,
Here you go. Charlie.
is Mr. Daniels. I have worked with you and your staff for many years, and I can't say enough good things about you, sir. You bring such a calm demeanor, you bring insightful opinions, and you care, even though you don't live in this town, you care deeply about the town, and you will be sorely missed. I do mean what I said. I think we all have to listen to each other, not just wait for us to stop talking and then go on with what we're doing. We are one town, we are full of amazing volunteers, amazing staff, and we all care about. So we will get COA. I would like us to consider what the people in the COA apartments need, and let's plan for them as well as everybody else in town. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good job on the military flags.
Thank you.
Okay. Mayor, good evening, council. I want to say a few words. I'll try to make it quick. I'm turning to the side because I think a lot of the folks on Facebook want to see who's talking. So I encourage people to turn around and face the council as well. I'm just going to talk about the pilot program and what it is. And I think a lot of townspeople, and there's a lot of people on Facebook, who don't know what the pilot program is. So I'm going to make it quick, I promise. So the pilot program has been around for over 60 years, and it started in the cities because there was an exodus from the cities in New Jersey, Newark, Jersey City, and they lost a lot of their employment base. So the state decided that they were going to give these tax abatements so that there was they didn't want significant tax loss to the school district and county, and under the long-term abatement statute, the county receives 5% of the payment. You guys talked about it. Pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. Pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. So the pilot program was for these cities: Camden, Patterson, Jersey City, Trenton, Kinnelon. So what Tammy was saying, and I appreciate everybody's point of view, because that's why we're here. We want to hear everybody's point of view to see what's best. So I'm going to talk about some of the issues with the pilot program. The pilot agreement funds all go toward the city budget, only 5%, as you guys have talked about. None of the funds are going to go to the school district. None of the funds. The cities have over many years granted payment in lieu of taxes pilot agreements with various property owners where no tax is levied on the properties with pilot agreements for school taxes. No taxes will be for school taxes. This creates a gap between education, service requirements, and related costs, and no support by the property owners for costs associated with education of students in the cities. Often the pilot agreement have been extremely lucrative for the developers over time. Additionally, developers have often taken advantage of municipalities with creative contracts and operations to ensure the developer pays the lowest amount under the agreement. This is a paper written by O'Connor Davies Accountants. They were formed in 1891. They have 1,400 employees, and they audit these pilot programs. So over the past 35 years, they've worked with New Jersey municipalities. They've seen the pitfalls regarding the pilot agreements. The developers will sell to the municipalities upon entering into the pilot where the area is not blighted or in need of redevelopment. Developers, in an effort to increase their profits, will pitch municipalities that a pilot is needed. Now, this was sent to me by a Kinnelonian who lives in Belmar. And Belmar had a fight with the pilot program. They fought it, and they didn't take it. So lastly, and to make it quick, because it's been a long night, the oversight is very difficult. There's no consistent audit standards relative to what the municipality requires in order to consider an audit complete. So there's no outside or third-party reviews conducted to ensure the appropriateness of submitted entity audits of the developer. So July 1st, 2025, things are going to change. There's going to be a lot more movement in town. And maybe it would be nice to have other folks, other developers come in July of 2025, because competition is good. Competition is good. For Kinnelon, right? Thank you.
Good job, Ray.
Other stuff.
I'd like to pick up on what Ed was just saying. Competition is good. And my name is Cindy Frank, and I'm very proud to be running for council with our counterpart, Sean Beatty here. I'd just like to say real quick that some of the items you guys talked about tonight, anytime that we can save money, I believe that that's a great thing. So I do want to thank Councilman Mabee for your focus and determination in saving the borough so much money after that 90% increase in the garbage. The paving plan that you talked about also seems like a solid plan, definitely something that we could all look forward to. And I'm very happy to hear that there's going to be a focus on improving the facilities that can benefit everyone, such as the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. And lastly, I do want to thank Mayor Frida for the comments that you made earlier, regarding the negativity on Facebook. After sitting here for the last 2 hours and listening to tonight's meeting, it's very encouraging to hear that we do have so much to look forward to. So I thank everybody for all the efforts, including Charlie. That's it. Thank you.
Chris, you're up. We know what you're going to talk about.
What?
We know what you're going to talk about.
Well, I got a couple.
Okay, go
I'll
ahead.
go fast. So, thus far, I've heard that this, the pilot plan is better for the builder. A couple of you guys mentioned that. Is it better for us? Like, are we foregoing millions of dollars of taxes?
Only
For
if
what?
someone there.
Chris, I told you this last time we talked about it. We don't have anything in front of us.
Okay.
That piece of paper that Tammy brought was 2019. At that point, as a council, we decided to wait 4 more years to see if someone
So we're
wants
not
that
doing
property.
any piloting
What-
now?
Correct.
Right.
In our borough, there's no piloting.
Okay, but then we're not talking about getting together and pilot program for this guy wants to build there.
Correct.
We're not. Let's just
No,
make that
wait.
clear.
What do you mean?
In other words, you're saying that there is no pilot program even put forward.
Except for the one that Tammy had that was in 2019.
Okay. Which
But I
is a
don't-
little old.
That's a little old,
Okay.
and again, it was presented at a council meeting.
So when a new one comes up,
They
then
weren't
at that
invited.
time, we
Correct.
see what the taxes could be.
Correct.
And we measure that
Yes,
against
sir.
whatever, and we make a decision at that time.
Correct.
Okay, good for me. Is it wise to change, I want honest answers, you know me.
Yes?
So is it wise to change the area behind Lowe's to residential? Does that open us up for more of the same of this type of stuff?
I don't know.
You know what I'm trying to say?
We don't own it.
Now you have, what?
We don't own the property.
No, but you're gonna, right now it's zoned as commercial.
Commercial.
Well, if you zone it as residential, you're kind of opening up the door, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is what I'm asking. So is that smart, so that we have 2 doors open?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
Well, because the person who owns the property or a piece of the, 2 pieces of property wants to
Right.
put a building in, not houses.
Go again, but.
The gentleman who owns, there's 2 pieces of property.
Right.
The gentleman who owns the bigger piece of property does not want to do houses. So we can't force him to do it. We brought it up to him actually at our meeting, didn't we? We did back in 2019 of different.
Now, what are we,
No,
are we
Randy-
talking about behind?
Rand brought up condos, is that correct?
For Kinnelon Mall.
Oh, for Kinnelon
And he
Mall.
blew you off.
Okay.
Okay.
You were there,
So
the mayor stood up. to
The
him.
owner of the property has to be willing to put houses in. That hasn't
Well,
been talked to him about.
however,
However,
if you change it to residential, then that opens the door for residential, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like, what would be the purpose of that?
to change it to residential and he doesn't want to build it residential.
If it's zoned as commercial,
It might as well just stay the same, nothing's been on it.
Can I clarify this a little bit?
yeah, help me out.
So, if it's commercial, the only way, there's two ways it can change, as far as I know, and our attorney can correct me if I'm wrong. One is that the zoning is changed by the council by ordinance.
Right.
The other one is if the developer is granted a pilot program, basically what a pilot program is, and you're not supposed to use this term, it's spot zoning. So all the zoning, all the regulations are thrown out. You have this piece of property where now height requirements can be changed that don't apply to the rest of the borough.
So in a way, even that changes commercial to
Anything that
anything,
the pilot
including
program.
residential. So my question is, why do we want to, if we already have one place that the guy wants to sue us to build residential, why would we want to open up the door for another place? I just don't get it.
I'll be honest, Chris, I'm
Go ahead.
confused. I'm not sure. We have the owner of the property,
The owner of the property, which one?
which we have behind, we call behind Lowe's. Behind
Behind
Lowe's, there's two pieces of property.
Right.
There's a big piece that's 5 or 6 acres, and there's a smaller piece that's an acre. I don't know if that's correct, but it's in that ballpark.
Okay.
He owns the big piece,
The 5.
the 5, and now he wants to buy the smaller piece, and then he wants to talk to the borough about possibly putting 55 and over apartment complex behind Lowe's. That's the conversation we've had so far. We haven't had meetings with him since 2019 to say to him, hey, how about houses? You know, or anything like that. Last time.
So we don't,
Last
we're
time
kind
you
of
sat in
jumping
front
the
of this
gun, in other
council-
words, saying,
Very jumpy.
we're going residential.
Very jumpy. Very jumpy.
Because, right, because I just don't see why you would even want to go residential. Like, what's the point?
That's a conversation we'll have to have with him. Will we ask him that? Yes.
But just to be fair, the owner of that property has gone to Butler and asked them for 250 hookups for 250 units
Oh.
for utilities.
So we
Plus-
sort of know where he's headed.
Yeah.
Or we know that he's trying to find out whether it's feasible or not. And I think an intelligent property owner would find out what the
I
feasibility
would find out
would be.
everything. like that.
Because if the utilities company said no, they say, okay, well, I
I'm
can't
just
do-"
saying, we're gonna have to tread very carefully
Right.
before we just go, oh, here's 250 units.
Well,
And
I
this
think
guy
the
says this and
developer-
goes, oh, here's another 250 units.
We are. We would.
Right. Right?
We're gonna have a planning board as well as the council committees, and we're gonna work on it together.
That's all I'm asking. Right? Fair. Now, here's my other question.
And I even told you you could sit in on the committee.
No, you can call me and I'll be there. I'm good at this kind of stuff. We're talking about now reassessing our homes every 5 years?
State
What is
mandated.
that?
20% every year.
What is that?
And actually, maybe, Ray, you
That's kind of why
can.
I stayed.
Hmm?
That's kind of why I stayed.
So Ray, can you explain it?
Sure.
Okay.
You want me to come up and explain it?
Sure.
Yeah, come on up.
Thank you, Chris.
Ray, you should have ran away.
Come on up.
So, I'm not an expert at it, but it's part of my world. So, and I have other towns that do it. So what happens is, in the first year, we have a revaluation. The entire town is looked at, and the houses are assessed at market value for that year. And then they wouldn't change again until you did another revaluation. In a 5-year rolling reassessment, the next year, all of the houses are again adjusted to the market value, and 1/5 of the town is audited. So they come out and look at 1/5 of the town to make sure that it's at market value. The next year, all of the houses are adjusted to what is believed to be market value, and another fifth of the town is audited to make sure that that is an accurate assessment. So every 5 years, every single year, every single house is adjusted to market value, but every 5 years, every house is audited to make sure that number is accurate. So that's what the plan would be for this process. I suggest you take Charlie's advice and get your assessor in here to explain that.
He's coming to our next, he'll be at our next workshop.
To explain that more thoroughly, but that's the way my understanding of how a 5-year rolling reassessment works.
So he is coming to our next workshop, which is the second Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. upstairs. He'll be there to talk about this.
And when is
with
that?
council. The second Thursday at 7 o'clock. He's coming to talk to the council about it.
Okay. Now, that was not my thought, those were his 2 minutes. Let's just get that.
I think they're well
You're
understood.
still good. You're still good.
Thank you, by the way.
I
So,
was only get 10.
okay, now this is a serious question, I want to throw it with Bill. Why last time in Face and Lakes did my taxes go up kaboom?
Oh, that was
Like-
Bill. That was-
No. Yeah, that's very funny. But here's what I'm saying.
It's an easy
Isn't it
answer. It's an
just-
easy answer.
No, isn't it just, which should be, the houses in Kinnelon, right? What, like, are you saying that the houses in Face and Lakes are worth more than the houses?
They're selling for more.
Size-wise, yes.
Not size-wise, they're
Well, I mean, like per
smaller.
square foot,
The
yes.
selling price
Definitely a
Selling
better,
price went up much higher.
Selling
it's
price.
the hottest market, right? in basically.
The selling prices went up quite a bit.
So that's why it went up so rapidly?
Yeah, well-
Like, how were they doing it before?
Yeah, but you have to remember,
They didn't do it for 15
the
years.
first, the borough reassessment, the borough was totally reassessed in 2001.
2001.
And it was delayed 16 years before it was reevaluated again. Hello, up there, Bill, Vince, me, we were screaming, Jim, we were screaming, we need a revaluation. We
Yeah, I would
can't
say
have
at least every 10.
10, it was supposed to be every 10 years by law, but it was delayed
That's a good number.
16. Now, jumping ahead if I may.
Go ahead. But this assessment thing then costs us every year too.
Oh, absolutely.
But why don't we just stick with the 10 like we're supposed to?
The
But it
state,
saves money.
It's in the plan.
the state's mandated every 5 years now, every municipality.
Oh,
It's the state, it's not us.
okay.
Again.
That's why I asked my question.
So my question to this would be, our tax assessor will be at our workshop, and you can ask him everything. Because he probably is a lot more now, obviously, a lot more
That's the
knowledge.
best.
No, but if that's the deal, then that's the deal. You
Yeah.
gotta do what you
I
gotta
don't
do.
want to tell you the wrong thing, but it's, nobody here.
So
likes
it
taxes.
wasn't Bill's fault.
Well,
Unfortunately.
Is that what you're saying? Anyway, thank you.
thank you, Chris.
Did we get you everything you wanted on that? Did we get you?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to change the subject. So, I'm Lori, and I vote by mail. So during the presidential election, I took my ballot and I dropped it off in the back of the building, as this letter says to do.
At the mailbox that was back here?
Yeah, the mailbox that's supposed to be behind the building according to this letter. It's not behind the building.
Oh,
It's in the front of the
It's in
building.
the front.
Well,
That was
I
Bill.
walked
That was Bill.
around, no, it's
No, I
a
don't,
serious
Chief,
matter.
I'm sorry, wait, hold, but Chief, was there a reason they had to move it?
Security reasons.
Security, police camera.
Well, then let's get a
Well, I don't
hold
know.
of this
Randy-
letter.
Randall, take that letter.
Please, this is, yes, this is
Okay.
what comes in the ballot from the county,
Okay.
okay? Because I want my vote counted, and I want everyone's vote counted, because that's how democracy works.
Yes. So
And I don't
we'll
wanna
have
worry
Karen
about
put
where my ballot is.
Yeah.
we'll have Karen put a sign out to say that the boxes in the front. Okay. And then Randall take care of the wording, he knows a lot of people.
We'll talk over there. I'm gonna be there tomorrow.
No, this came just the other day, I already mailed in my return, I came home with my ballot. No, no box. Again, no, okay, here we are. We're gonna have another big election in a number of years. I don't wanna hear people walking around not knowing what to do with their ballots.
I'll put a sandwich board out back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like this letter that came to the county?
Karen,
You?
and she'll give it to Ray.
I'll be happy to give it to you.
Thank you.
Call them.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
This is what happened.
Nice
to George.
job on the. What happened? Hello. I don't know. I'm sorry to see you.
One question that struck me, this government money that we got, we don't have to say our names anymore.
Oh, you had to say your name. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. I like to,
My name
I
is-
do
my
my,
name
I'm
is
sorry, I
Medora.
do my notes so I can follow up with somebody, sorry.
That's okay, my name is Medora. So this government $1 million that we have, wasn't that supposed to be used for specific things, not?
Infrastructure.
Five killers is what it could be used for.
Okay, so it didn't have to be anything to do with COVID, you just got free money.
Basically,
Like the rest of
the way,
Everybody with a lot
the
of
way the
risk.
thought was like, so for infrastructure, it was projects that you would have done, but because of COVID, you couldn't have done it, so this is supposed to like offset that because if you lost revenue, you couldn't do those projects.
Okay,
Plus the cost of everything has gone up, so having extra money really helps.
We saved that money because we knew what was going to happen this year, and we wanted it for the capital projects.
you have a crystal ball. Okay, so,
Got the stars.
my other question goes back to what my husband said last time. Dog park.
Yes. Well, now we have,
We have $1 million
Bill, freed
that
up.
we can
So hold on. So the only thing is that, and Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, one thing that I did learn in the process is that it can't be for something brand new.
Oh.
I know. Am I correct? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
we're,
Well,
Trust me, it was on the
we're
list.
hopefully adding 2 people to Bill's committee, and Bill knows that he's openly pursuing that.
okay.
We'll look at it again.
And
The
why do
problem
we
is,
have,
where does it go?
well, yeah, I know.
My thought was always in front of the DPW, make room and figure it out, because everywhere else in town has houses next to it. KRP, the field down by Shirley Terrace, it has all neighbors.
And you have to worry about water.
So that's what's the problem, we was finding a location.
Because we were looking at Untermeyer, we were.
My dog yells at me all the time.
But that would be a great place because the
DPW.
animals are there.
Yes, I agree, I think it can work, so I want it there. I think it's the right location.
Okay, and why do we have this law ordinance signs, no dogs, no dogs, no dogs?
Because we had a couple issues in town, and our insurance company makes us put it up.
There were bites.
Dog bites.
Children were
Dog-
getting bit.
Bites.
dog attacks.
Okay. Punish the people who have the dogs that bite.
So my dog's.
Don't punish the rest of the town.
No. So I like how you think, thank you. Okay, that's it here from the public. Ugh.
Is he from
Charlie,
Kinnelon?
I think he's from
Sorry,
Kinnelon. Does anyone know him?
Okay. So,
Hello.
two things I'm taking away. As it sits right now, you have no conceptual plans for apartments, correct?
Just the ones from 2019.
Right, so, but as of right now, nothing, right? So, if something does come up, is there legally a way to put into whoever's proposal that they need to compensate the fire department for the equipment that it will take to protect them? In other words, ladder trucks, that sort of thing.
If it's, the answer is yes, if they need to, and they would need to go in front of a board, if there's equipment that would be necessary only for them. You can't make them contribute to off-site improvements unless they are the ones that are driving the requirement. So if there's fire equipment that the borough doesn't have that would be needed, the answer is yes, you can make them pay for it.
Perfect. Okay, I got a show of hands of who's gonna make them do that. All right, thank you. Hey, Charlie, enjoy your new commute. Thank you.
I have a follow-up point. If somebody comes to the borough and would like to put apartments in, or a pilot program in, or any type of tax exemption, I would appreciate if we could get a commitment from the mayor and the council that it would be publicized either through the marquee, on the Facebook, on the website. The only time they came in front of our town before, it was not on the agenda. So if somebody sends a letter, says they want to come in and speak, I ask that you defer them so that we can have them advertised so that the public can come to the meeting, be informed, and be a part of the discussion. So I would appreciate that if you would make that commitment
Yes.
to be transparent to the residents of Kinnelon.
Of course.
Thank you.
Chris? Very good, okay. Anyone else in the public like to be heard? So Charlie getting up. Coming back? All in favor, keep it Charlie? Aye. All right. All right, so we're going to close to the public. We're now moving on to payment of bills. The bills, everybody had an opportunity to look at the bills. Now they can make the approval. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
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 Okay, we have the consent agenda. A has been removed. We have B through K. Do I have a motion to?
I had asked that we remove F, H, and I, check for grants for those. We're hiring a new grant company, the Millennium Strategies. And I'd like to check with them and see if we can use somebody else's money to pay for these.
I mean, my thought would be, I wouldn't have a problem with tabling H, the police desk, because I know Councilman Harris went to the county to see the facility, and he can report back to us at a workshop, and we can approve it next month. But the
The tablets can't wait for a month till we.
So I think the best thing we could do is authorize the certification of the funds. We're not voting to spend any money tonight. You still have to look at all the proposals that are submitted, and we still have to make a decision on what we want to do as a council. This is certifying that the funds are there to be used. The next step will be we need to go out and get updated proposals, and then we still have to continue our conversation of, are we going to use these funds, or are we going to outsource our dispatching?
We're
The
not gonna
conversation.
put on this again afterwards. We're gonna vote on
Of course
it.
we are, of course we are. This is just certifying the funds, this isn't purchasing it. This is certifying that the funds are there. And then we didn't authorize to buy a dispatching desk, we're just authorizing that the funds are there.
Charlie?
I agree, that is correct. But
What if we're
the council is authorizing the CFO to look into using these dollars, the American Rescue Plan dollars, to make this purchase. It would have to go out to, if it's over a certain threshold, it would have to go out to bid. We're dealing with federal funding here, and the requirements for federal funding are different than the state requirements. I'm very much familiar with the state requirements. The federal requirements are a different process. So this is one step in that process, in that federal process.
And Mayor, the reason why I encourage that we go ahead with this is because our dispatching desk is aging and failing, and if it breaks tomorrow, we will have the certified funds needed to do something about it. If we don't certify these funds, then, you know, I think this is the first step in an action plan. We've talked and had very healthy conversations about this since 2001, and I agree. Now that we have a grant writer, I'm going to be in touch with Peter first thing in the morning and tell him how happy we are that we're signing on to Millennium Strategies. And the first thing I'm going to say is, Peter, what's out there? And hopefully in our next workshop meeting, we'll have some feedback, but we also know that we will have certified these funds so that if that door closes, this door is still open to us because we've been told by the manufacturer of our equipment, if it breaks, it cannot be replaced. Or, I'm sorry, it cannot be fixed. It needs to be replaced. And that's what we're doing here tonight. We're just certifying funds that we have the money to go down this path. We will continue. Sorry.
May I make one comment there? I'd also like to make a comment that the ARP money is actually grant money. So we would be looking for a grant instead of using grant money, which I don't necessarily understand the
You can take that ARP money and use it for something else that you can't get a grant for.
Correct.
But it is a grant.
So, yeah.
And so we've already gotten the grants.
It's not a grant.
The ARP money is grant. It's grant.
Gentlemen, we can. And
Okay, I'm asking you,
Yeah.
you can refuse to do it for me. I'm asking that we table those till next month and discuss them at the work session.
Let Millennium do its magic.
Mayor, I make a motion that we keep the resolutions as set.
No, that's procedurally incorrect. If a council member wants to make a motion.
Oh, I didn't know he made a motion, I'm sorry.
I think he was going to, or he did. It would need to
Okay.
be seconded, and then
No,
it's
no,
a
no
privileged
problem.
motion. There's no debate, you just have to vote on it.
I just have one question before we do that. If we go ahead with this as written, what happens then to this money if we get a grant? Then we have to go and re-vote it to reallocate it somewhere else?
Just sir, I'm sorry.
And that's a question I don't know the answer. I don't know, Fred, you know?
So you're authorizing your CFO to start the procurement process and stating that there's available funds.
Right.
If you get the funds from another source, I still think though that funding could replace this funding. It's just starting the process.
But then what happens to this funding?
It stays where it is. Where it is right now, through the action that you've done, it is available to spend. So Charlotte, we did the chapter 159 earlier this evening. That money is available to spend.
Right.
What you're certifying is that you're going to spend it on whatever one of these projects is. So that there's a certification that those funds are available to spend it, we can now start the procurement process. So now you're starting the procurement process of getting bids or whatever it may be. If in the meantime you find other funding sources, those funding sources could replace these funding sources and they would stay as they are. Right now they're on your balance sheet waiting to be spent. They would just stay there.
And if I
So that would go to fund balance, is that what you're saying?
Nope. This
No.
is the ARP went by doing the chapter 159,
Okay.
running the funds through the budget is now on your budget, the balance sheet. So there's cash and ARP funding. That's the liability. So once that money is there, it's available to be spent. If you don't spend it, it just stays there on the balance sheet waiting to be spent.
But
And
then
I
why
do
do we
know
even
that-
need to do this?
I do know that.
Procurement law.
I'm sorry?
Procurement law. The law forces you to do the federal funding
Okay.
procurement law.
And I do know that every municipality this size has to report to the federal government as well as the state as to what you're going to spend the money on. When you know it, I had to do this back in April. Reading the documentation on the final rule, even if I put it in there, in the report that I have to send the federal government, we could change our minds. It doesn't lock it in. So the next time I go to the report, if there was a project that, you know what, we didn't really, we did a reassessment or analyze the projects and we prioritize them differently, you can take one off and put another one on.
Okay, let me change this a little bit. Why don't we hold off on H, because Councilman Harris did go to the county, hasn't reported. He can report that in the work session next month.
Or I could report it right now if anyone's interested.
This isn't a work session. I'd rather have a discussion at the work
Report
session.
it to the public.
So do we?
All right, so what's the motion? What's the motion?
We'll take H out.
Table H, table H.
Just H?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Councilman Yago,
Yes?
Councilman Harris,
No.
Councilman Maybe,
No.
Councilman Russo,
Yes?
Councilman Charles.
Yes.
Councilman Churro.
No.
The mayor is entitled to vote.
Do they break the tie?
Yes.
Council, I'm sorry. Mayor Frida,
Well, the only thing that Anthony said was there discussion, that we'll discuss anyway, is that if our police desk does go, there is no replacing it, and then we're in trouble, so I would vote, no.
So that should be a vote on the consent.
Okay, so now I have the consent agenda B through K. So I need motion to approve, and how do we do that with H? H is part of it. H is part of it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please. We're voting on the whole consent agenda
on the
now.
whole consent
The whole-
agenda is voted.
But it includes H, so how would someone vote this?
If they want to have it voted on separately, you could have it voted on separately.
So do you want me to pull H out to vote on separately again?
I make a motion.
Okay.
It's gonna pass, so.
All together? All right, so A through K. I need a motion, I have one, I need a second.
A second.
A second by Eric. Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilman Yago,
Abstain.
Councilman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Maybe,
Yes.
Councilman Russo,
Yes to all except H.
Councilman Charles,
Yes, but set item H.
Councilman Churro,
Yes.
So the abstain goes with the majority. So it passed. Okay, so we're on to old business.
that includes H, excuse me, that
Yes.
includes H.
Yes, includes H.
Okay, so it all passed.
All right, Gavin, I know I told you I'd get you home by 9, but just keep going, all right?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Not doing that again.
Just keep filming.
He's still weak, forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, so we're on,
15.
old business, right? An ordinance amending chapter, or that's ordinance number 523, an ordinance amending chapter 156 of the Borough Code titled Public Property Use of, by repealing and replacing 156-21 titled Marijuana with a new 156-21 to be titled Marijuana and adding a new 156-25 to be titled Cannabis. This ordinance was introduced last meeting held on April 20th, 2023. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted municipal bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to the public, and anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 5-23. I will now close the meeting to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on council wish to speak at this time? sure Vince is tired of talking about this. I need a
I need
motion.
the marijuana.
I need a motion to adopt ordinance 5-23.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Sherrill?
Yes.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right, we'll move on to public hearing on ordinance 6-23, an ordinance adding a new chapter 147 titled Peace and Good Order at the Borough of Kinnelon Code. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on April 20th, 2023. The proper notice was published as required by law. Copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 6-23. No. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on, no, I did that already. We now close, you see, got me flustered. I will now close this meeting to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the dais wish to speak about this Peace and Good Order Code? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to adopt
Make a
ordinance
motion.
6-23.
Second.
Okay, I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Sherrill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Now we're on to ordinance number 7-23, an ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 110 of the Borough of Kinnelon Code titled Dogs and Other Animals. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on April 20th, 2023. Proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone from the public who would like to speak on ordinance 7-23. Bill, nothing? Okay. I will now close this meeting to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time?
Yes, Mayor. I'd just like to thank Councilman Russo for all the hard work that he puts in on these ordinances. Helping him with one ordinance was definitely an eye-opener, but it was a great pleasure working with him, and hopefully we can do it again sometime, but congratulations on all the fantastic work you've been doing.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank
Yeah,
you.
this was a hard one, too.
Yeah.
All right, so I need a motion to adopt ordinance 7-23.
Make motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Sherrill?
Yes.
Okay, our dogs are now safer in Kinnelon.
The people, not so much.
Okay, now we're moving on to new business. An introduction of ordinance 9-2023. It's an ordinance amending ordinance 18-22 titled an ordinance dissolving the Open Space Committee and Environmental Advisory Committee and creating a new Sustainability and Open Space Advisory Committee. So, all right. I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against?
I think we need a roll call.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Roll call, please. I thought we were on the money.
Yago?
Yes.
No,
Councilman
ordinance.
Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Sherrill?
Yes.
Whereas the above ordinance was introduced at this meeting held on May 18, 2023, and read by title and passed on first reading. Now therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting to be held on June 15, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building, this council will further consider for second reading and final passage of the said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish the proper notice thereof. All right, two more. We're coming into home stretch. Ordinance number 10-2023, an ordinance amending chapter 44 of the code of the Borough of Kinnelon titled Kinnelon Alliance Committee, and specifically section 44-1 of said chapter titled Establishment, Membership, Terms, and Vacancies.
Hey, it could have been open.
I know, yeah, that's what I was hoping for, yeah. Motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Sherrill?
Yes.
Thank you. Whereas the above ordinance was introduced this meeting held on May 18, 2023, and read by title and passed on first reading. Now therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting held on June 15, 23, at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building, this council will further consider for second reading and final passage of the said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk of the borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof.
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what this one, like the resolution, sorry. Okay, ordinance number 11, 2023. A bond ordinance appropriating $1,350,850 and authorizing the issuance of $774,250 of bonds or notes for the borough for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the Borough of Kinnelon in the County of Morris, New Jersey.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion. Second, roll call. Bill, thanks for staying.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Charo?
Yes.
Okay, whereas the above ordinance was introduced at this meeting held on May 18, 2022, and read by title and passed on first reading, and therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting to be held on June 15, 23 at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building, this council further consider for second reading and final passage of said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish proper notice thereof. All right, we're on to last thing in new business. I just wanted to, I know Eric had reached out to the chief about the Pride celebration. I hope you were okay with the information you received from our chief.
Yes, and if anyone would care, at the next working meeting, I'll share.
Okay.
But it won't actually,
Go over by
it won't be, yes, it won't matter. So anyway, I was perfectly satisfied with
Okay.
what you.
So I need just a motion to move forward with the Pride celebration.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we, as a body, support the Pride Day event, which is going to take place on June 3rd, and that we encourage all of our residents to come out and enjoy this event. Passing this motion is going to reinforce to our community that the government body promotes inclusion of all residents in all aspects of borough life, without regard to sexual orientation, gender identification, race, religion, or any other criteria. By doing this, we reinforce the belief that Kinnelon is truly a stigma-free municipality. So I make a motion which I'll beg your indulgence to have a roll call vote on to support the Gay Pride Day event taking place on June 3rd.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Abstain.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Charo?
Yes.
Okay, the abstain goes with the majority. All right, so that's okay. Have a great event. That is another event I will be on vacation for, so I apologize again, Vince.
It is going to be a habit.
I don't know when, I'm freaking out. This is the busiest time of the week. I've just got 3 vacations. All right, so now we're on to 17, tax collector's report and investment officer's report. As fast as you can say.
During the month of April 2023, the tax collector's office processed a total of $3,260,150.17. Investments officer's report, a total of $23,469.14 was earned in interest for the month of April.
Okay, thank you. District school payment, $3,321,495.67. I need a motion to pay the check.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Charo? Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, we're up to adjournment. I would like to, ask someone for adjournment
One thing.
for Charlie's last meeting.
May I add one thing? You can pencil in your books, July 15th. It looks like it will be the benefit up at Silas Condick Park for Pastor Chuck. He just had his 3rd operation. It went well. He is in bad shape. It's very grim.
Thank you for bringing that.
But July 15th, Pennsylvania, I'm sorry.
That's fine, just don't, that's good.
Thank
Don't
you.
say anymore.
Okay. I just want everybody to know, July 15th.
So Charlie, this is our last meeting with you, so I'm gonna give us a Charlie Daniel motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody that wants Charlie not to leave?
Aye.
Meeting's over. Go Colts.